All right, folks. Roto Schlem back in the hizzle. So what we've got shaking here, we're actually going to get a guest to pop in the booth with us. So our guy, Emil, is actually going to reroute a cable. We've got a connection, something with a connection issue, this and that. But so he asked me to jump into the spot here, and here in round one, so over on lanes 3 and 4, we have Dave Sorigliano, the number 9 seed, versus the number 24 seed, Brian Waugh. On lanes 5 and 6, we have the number 12 seed, Andrew Kane, versus the number 21 seed, Ben Perry. On lanes 7 and 8, we have Michael Fitzgerald versus Matt Jones, the 23 seed Matt Jones. Over on 9 and 10, we have the number right here in front of us. We have Eileen Linares versus Justin Sims. Justin 22, Eileen 11. Here on 11 and 12, we have the number 13 seed Keith Dahmer versus the number 20 seed Eric Hatchett. On 13 and 14, number 16 Briley Hall versus number 17 Brianna Cote. Over on 15 and 16, number 14 seed Chris Mays versus the number 19 seed Dylan Taylor. And over on 17-18, the number 15 seed Josh Anthony versus the number 18 seed Eddie Van Daneker. And as previously mentioned, we are joined now with the reigning PWBA Rookie of the Year, none other than Miss Hope Gramley.
Hello.
Hola, Hope. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Well, I am going to go out on a big limb because I'm not exactly a small guy and I need a big limb to say that you would rather be on that side of the camera than this side of the camera.
Well, with as well as the last few days have gone, I'm happy to not be bowling today.
Okay, so there's a thing.
Yep.
And again, spoken as a honest bowler, and
Yeah.
that's what we appreciate.
Yeah.
And you and I chatted a little bit after you got done last night, as we're going to watch these matches. And again, folks, these are best 2 out of 3. It's not total pins, so basically you got to, you want to win the game and move on. And those who qualified in the top 8 of that cashers round have a bye, so they're back here waiting in the wings. They do have a practice pair down on 25 and 26. And what Theo told us, as these matches get done, before the next round starts, they can change surface, and they will get, I think, 1 or 2 balls in each lane, and then we're just going to keep rolling to get this thing rolling. So, anyway, Hope being honest, and we appreciate that. Yeah, it's a little rough, huh?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we chatted a little bit afterwards. My arsenal was very limited this weekend.
Because again,
just with traveling.
By the way, she does not live close to here and
No.
doesn't have the luxury of just loading up the car and getting here.
I was limited to 5 balls, really, because I have my spare ball.
You have a spare ball, right? And so
Yeah.
I guess in something like, and you and I talked about some stuff afterwards as far as your arsenal, it gets into, there's different mentalities. And again, we've got a variety of folks in the stream, tuning in. And actually, I probably should maybe turn that so I can try and see some of those in case anybody's talking at us. It's one of those deals that some folks, like you said, if you're limited to 6, you use a spare ball, so that gives you 5. Now, some folks would go the route of maybe use a urethane ball as their spare ball in order to then give them technically 6 options.
Yeah, right.
Because if you use like a plastic ball, or in our case for our company, you use a mix, which is a super hard urethane, which is like a plastic. You take one possibility out of play. And not to say they're going to use urethane all the time, but it's
an option.
It's a
It's
mentality
there.
thing. Yeah. It's a bowler option.
Yeah, it's very common. It's definitely something that I've thought of just so that I would have that extra ball. Maybe not on tour because I have that luxury of having everything that I need.
I was going to say, and tour's a little bit different because y'all have, I'm sure some of you travel, and again, I don't know your exact, most of you girls travel either with a travel buddy or you've got a vehicle, you've got 12, 15 balls, plus you got balls on the truck.
Absolutely.
And if you have to, you can go drill something. That's an option, even though the time restraints, things have changed enough to where, back in my day, drilling on the ladies tour in the late 90s, I'm guessing before you were born, it was a deal of a lot of times we had spacing in between, so the girls could come out and actually drill balls between squads, and we'd have multiple days of qualifying, getting that. Obviously now the format's a little bit different,
Right.
Shorter windows in basically a 2-day span. So, but yeah. So give us a rundown of what you saw, or kind of in your times there out on the lanes this week.
So what I saw and what I did are very different things in my eyes. So obviously you need your ball to hook early, and you need to stop and blow through that speed bump without any change of direction. Because if you try to if your ball is hitting the break point at that speed bump, you're 2, 8, 10, or maybe big 4. Like, it's just too unpredictable down there. So that's why you see a lot of urethane being thrown, a lot of surface. You want your ball to hook early, and you want it to lay there.
And so to expound on that, to kind of almost in the trap it, if you will.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, you're speaking some bowling lingo. The speed bump, which is something I think it's more common that you girls see, because you see it this way, especially for you, because you do have a little bit more hand than most girls on the ladies tour. The girls don't necessarily break them down side to side like guys do,
right?
Because of the rev rates.
Yeah.
So the girls use surface, which we witnessed here, because there was plenty of 2-handers and some high rev rates, but there are plenty of other bowlers. So the surface blows apart a spot in the front, added to this friction in the lane surface, which then makes it feel like the back of the pattern has a hump in it. In being truthful, a 42-foot pattern, all that happened was the friction just showed up closer to you.
Yeah, I mean, you still want to hit it,
yeah,
though.
just explain it to those folks at home kind of thing, because we've got a whole variety of folks listening and tuning in. So now, I would tell you there are patterns that do have a speed bump, as you referred to, built in. We've seen that countless times where, again, with the magic of these new lane machines, where based on where they place the 2-2s, man, you can see like your ball almost looks like, wow, my ball's slowing down. And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, hey, it's like its own little roller coaster deal. So yeah, that's what she's referenced to, folks, in that regard. So anyway, getting to slow down and tumble on the right spot, I think, is what we kind of talked about.
So that was what I saw. I needed my ball to hook early and stop. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the right ball to do that for more than 2 frames in a row. And that makes it difficult. With my 5 balls, I tried each of them maybe on multiple 4 different lines.
Right.
And I couldn't get anything to give me a consistent reaction. And then going across the house, the topography is not great.
Yeah.
So if I found something really good on 11 and 12, I'd move to 7 and 8 and be
totally
screwed.
Different. Yep. And that's a thing, and we've referenced it numerous times. Here in the center, they have leagues, and they have quite a bit of open play. And as you know, as you've learned now in the last handful of years, through your college ranks and now on tour, you get these pairs, especially closer to the desk, that have different hook spots because of the amount of open play that's placed right here in front of the desk. Because, again, like you said, it's easier for the folks working here at Bowlero or Kyrene to see open play bowlers, and they're not going to go, oh, hey, can I get a lane? Yeah, let me stick you down there in lane 40. Yeah. Like 4,000 feet away, past the snack bar, past, I can't really help you quickly kind of thing. So,
right.
And it's just a common thing, folks. It's not, and this date back, hell before I was born, before we had synthetic, and even in wood, you would see this tendency.
Yeah.
And so catching up on some of the action here, folks. I know we're talking randomness to you right now. Down on 3 and 4, man, Brian Wall's got a kind of a commanding lead in this opening match. Dave Sorgiano.
Yeah, if he makes the spare, he'll be clean through 6.
Yeah, split and open. So he's only Dave's got 70 in the 5th, strike up in the 6th. The next match there on 5 and 6. Kind of a back and forth within a few sticks. This one, Matt Jones versus, I've dubbed him Fitzmagic, Michael Fitzgerald. He's got an open and a lot of spares, and Matt Jones went spare, 4-bagger spare. So that's, again, this is a race to 2 wins. And, man, you look at the match over there in 17-18, I don't know, everybody's got a strike. Oh, there's 2 strikes on the board between the 2 of them through 5 frames.
Yeah.
So again, it just
these
people bowled great this morning to get there, and a lot of these. I mean, obviously, as you were sitting here watching, man, there was some dramatics and big last games to sneak in the number.
Absolutely.
A few folks fell out of the number. But what you had just said, these folks kind of have a clue what's going on. They've been here bowling the last 3 days.
Yeah.
Man, some of these pairs are just not nice. You
Yeah.
know, especially looking like 17 and 18 is not playing nice right now.
Yeah.
So, in that regard, so this morning, let's talk about that. You watched.
I did. Yep.
You were watching.
I followed my boothang around.
Yeah, I was going to say you watch Kep, as I've learned from Emil. He's like, oh, yeah, Kep down there. And I'm like, Kep? He goes, yeah, Kep in there. I go, oh, okay.
Yep.
Everybody's got nicknames. Again, I'm not out all the time, so I'm learning nicknames and stuff on the fly. My man Emil's got the inside track. He's been learning me the last few weeks,
Yep.
if you will. So anyway, he had a pretty good look this morning.
Oh, yeah.
And,
he had a great look. Yep.
And it was anything different that he saw, or was just one of those things of just staying faster in the moment and paying attention to what was going on?
Well, he was paying attention, obviously. Like, he asked me a couple times to go to the pair that he would have been moving to next, just to see what they were doing. And so using that information from what I saw there and talking with Briley was who Alec followed. So we were able to get him lined up quick, so he knew what to expect when he got there, which was nice.
Okay.
I think the only thing that's really different from this morning to, maybe his qualifying block or even the sweeper on Thursday was that the lanes broke down a lot slower, so he was able to stay in that pitch black longer.
Okay.
Each fill shot, of course, he threw something different, tried a phase 2 with surface, obviously, and then an exotic also with surface. So he's got a couple options to do if he does have to get out of that pitch black, but it's got a really good reaction right now. It's doing all the right things, or at least it was this morning. We'll find out in about 4 games here, but
well, yeah, as they, as again we talked about, these are best 2 out of 3, and we're not going to rerun them, so we'll see how this shakes out based on the pair. And we do have, we do have some lefties sprinkled in here. So again, it's going to be what pair you catch, and
absolutely,
right here in front of us, Eileen actually she's got a pretty good look, and she almost, again, like she talked to us after her block. She reminds me, and we talked about how her game would correlate to the ladies' tour, and the fact of, she goes, I moved out, and per the suggestion of her father, moved out, and what felt like is the OB and kind of could wash out, she used it to her advantage because her game and style allowed that, as we quote unquote call a shim. She goes, I couldn't miss left per se. She goes, but it gave me something to kind of help hold the ball down lane. Yeah. And like that shot right there was a prime example. She's throwing IQ to a Ruby. And for most folks, that's going to bust through the face, but the way she rolls it, it was almost high flush trip. It obviously was high, but she's still in the strip to 4-9. So yeah, she's got Mr. Sims here. Frustration for sure. But again, let's get your thought process. And you've bowled enough formats and different things now. In a best of, like in this, a race to 2. If you're looking at your game, prime example, say 9 and 10, Mr. Sims here.
Yeah.
Are you going to look for a different ball? Are you going to try and fish something out? Because you can almost go, oh, I'm going to cash in this game. Or is it still close enough where you go, hey, I got to get a couple more, see where the next couple frames go, and then fish for a different ball?
Yeah. Well, so I'll answer with the point of view of as if I were Sims.
Yeah.
So we know that Eileen's probably not going to miss very much. She's a very accurate bowler, and she's all over the pocket right now.
Yep.
So we can assume that she's going to finish out this game and have a clean game.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Sims has got 2 opens in the 4 and 5th.
Yep.
So it's a little bit challenging because you want to. I unfortunately wasn't paying attention, so I don't know if they were good shots and bad breaks or bad shots.
Yeah, that's what
that kind of thing.
We were talking. That's what we do.
Yeah, but he's down 20 pins, and that's definitely something that you can make up in the last 3 frames. But with 2 opens and a opponent who's not going to miss, it would be beneficial to see what other stuff could possibly work better.
And speaking of opens, not to cut you off there, I mentioned before, folks, down on 3 and 4, Brian Wall had a commanding lead on Dave Sorgiano. Brian Wall opened 3 of the last 4 frames to shoot 170, and Dave goes to the face. Did he?
7-10.
7-10.
There's a lot of opens down there now, too.
And so he had a chance actually to step up and win that game with a couple opens himself. So, yeah, obviously, again, 3 and 4, not playing nice. But, yeah, Brian, he was he was pacing 290 through 6, and then it goes 9 out, strike, 7-2, 7-2. So those are the kinds of things that pop up and you make you scratch your head and go, man, did I miss that? Did I throw it that bad?
Yeah.
Or is this just another transition? And I think that's where we have to throw in this other factor as well. We did not run the lanes prior to that. You know, they had a few minutes of practice here, if you will. But yeah, the 4-game sprint this morning. Now we are into another game. So technically this is game 5 on the pattern with the practice. And so, yeah, these are part of the pattern transitioning yet again. And we're going to see, as these matches unravel, more transitions happening. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of strategy. And like we talked, there's got to be a lot of luck of your carry and catching the right pair. Because we've seen some crazy weird hits too. Did you have any of those yourself where you like, oh, that's a pretty decent shot and like something weird popped up?
Yeah, I had a lot of them.
She's like, well, pretty much every shot. No.
If my memory serves me well, I believe I had 2 good breaks.
Yep.
And shoot, so 18 games yesterday plus how many was the sweeper? 3. So 21 in my 21 games, I had 2 good breaks.
Okay.
I think I tripped 1 4-pin, and I got lucky once and rolled a 2-pin.
How about any like weird hits like Brandy Wolf happened to be? She bowled the very opening squad, which one Dave led. So this is Thursday morning. Here on 9 and 10, she left a pocket 6, 7, 10. Like it was.
Oh,
flush.
I saw that. I was here for that. Yeah.
And she goes, "You guys got that on camera, right? Because I want to go back and watch that." And we saw some other weird hits. Again, it's easy to get light. We saw a lot of 4, 8, 10s, if you will, like the 2 falls late or just random. As I taught, actually, Emil taught me a lot this week. I've actually taught him a few things, like the front bucket with a handle. He never heard that.
Yeah,
and he
I
goes,
say that.
He goes, what? And I go, yeah. You know,
then you have the empty bucket, so a bucket with no 8-pin.
Yeah, the 1, 2, I said the 1, 2, 3, 5. I said with the 7. I said front bucket with a handle. And he goes, yeah. He looked at me. He goes, oh, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I go, well, I said, anytime you got them in a cluster like that, it's a bucket in some capacity.
Yeah.
So
I actually have a fun story about nicknames for fun leaves.
For leaves, yeah.
So, college bowling, we all have those iPads, and so we keep track of stats and everything.
Yep.
Well, when you're tapping the pins of whatever your teammate left, if it's a rare thing, or maybe if it's more common, the iPad will tell you a fun name. So, I think it's the Big 4. On the iPad, it doesn't call it a Big 4. It calls it Grandma's Teeth.
Yes. Yeah, I've heard that. That's been around forever.
So I hadn't known that until I got to college and was working the iPad once. And
that's because us old folks know that there was things, way before that.
And then it also called a Greek church a Big 5.
A Big 5?
Yeah.
All right.
I thought that was strange.
I would actually call it High 5.
Well, yeah.
Makes sense, because you obviously went high if you left a Greek church.
Yeah, so it is some fun names.
Okay. Let's see here.
I'm sure there's more, but I can't remember what they were. My girls would know.
So if any of your girls, that is Hope sending out a lifeline. If any of your girls got out there.
I'm phoning a friend.
Yeah, like to phone a friend. If you can help in that. And again, we've had connected back to Chicago, St. Louis for me. Folks from all around are like, oh, hey, da-da-da. So, interesting match going over here with Bree. She's had a pretty good look up until this point. I would call this a pressure cooker on 13 and 14.
Yeah.
Nobody's running away with it, and it's literally shot for shot of who can get a better count and knock it over on the spare.
Both have a couple opens, but otherwise they've got some spares. Bree's got 2 strikes, and Briley's only got 1. But it's still a close game. Briley gets 1 good hit here in the 9th, and then just good count in the 10th. He could force Bree to strike or double. So.
And to give you folks a rundown, we got these matches finishing here in front of us. The ones to our right are still going any direction, it looks like.
Looks like Chris is going to win that match down there. Oh, wait, wrong here.
He needed that one.
He did need that one.
Right? Because that gets him to yeah. So he definitely.
So he needs the next one too, doesn't he?
585.
So if he goes 9, that's 204.
Yep, you're
so
correct.
he needs the double as well.
So he needs the double there.
And then Who else is? Oh, Eddie's down there.
Yep.
Eddie is not going to win this one. It doesn't look like.
So it looks like Josh is kind of.
Yeah. Other than the open in the first, he's clean after that.
Yep. And Eddie does have a few.
Yep. He had an open in the ninth.
Misses and then went 9 out. So looks like Josh is going to take the early lead there.
It's not over, but it does look that way.
It's not over, but it's.
So if Josh spares, and we'll say he gets 9 because the strikes are.
Post it, no, through the face. So that.
Yeah. So the first one is that Dylan? Who is he bowling?
Let's see.
Chris. Yeah, Dylan.
Yep. So Dylan's going to take the game 1. And anyway, reference here down to our left. So we've got, like we mentioned, Dave Sergilano had a chance there. Came up a little bit short with the shot. Ended up 7-10. And so Brian Waugh takes the 1-0 lead there. Over on 5 and 6, Ben Perry takes the 1 up against Andrew Kane. On 7 and 8, Matt Jones is 1 up on Michael Fitzgerald. On 9 and 10 here, Eileen is up 1-0 on Justin Sims. I'll wait for these couple matches here. Right here in our viewing, right in our front viewing spectrum.
All right, so we got 181 here. So Dahmer just needs a couple good shots.
Correct.
Doesn't need anything fancy, just nothing disastrous. He'll be okay.
Yep. And again, it's just that easy of when you see someone who's in a position like, oh, it's comfortable. And there's been plenty of times where me and be like, oh, yeah, right here. And all of a sudden it's like, well, hey, that's unexpected. Well, that changes things completely like that quick. And we saw that in that 4-game qualifier this morning. The last game was wild and hectic. We're like, well, how close is so-and-so? And it's like, oh, well, that person just shot 230. Or like, this person's 25 back. And I'm like, well, that guy just shot 260. And so actually, that's what Josh did. Josh actually was just up below the number. He shot 257, I think, is 56 is the last name to sneak in. Or actually climb in. It takes to win. And Barley actually, catches a double there. So does that shut Bree out?
No. 61,
well, it depends on what he does here.
Well, yeah. So if he needs a double in what's that?
Count.
6?
Yep.
7?
So he's
double in 7 to shut her out.
Definitely need this one right here. And so.
Yep. And Josh got the win down there. He needed 8 pins to shut out Eddie, and he struck. So.
Yep. And so Dahmer is going to take the lead right here in front of us. Taking the 1-0 advantage. And, well, we're waiting. Yep.
All right, so the spare here, 176.
Okay, so it's going to, Bree's got an opportunity here on 13 and 14.
So Bree needs to double.
Yep. And you can see Bree is a vet when it comes to this. She's, again, bowling on tour. You get into these types of situations. And speaking of situations, Emil, I don't know if you can hear me right now. Well, yeah, you can. Tim Simonis got done, and he came over and shook my hand. He goes, Mr. Schlemmer, he goes, I want to thank you guys for this whole thing. He goes, man, I'm cutting my teeth and wanting to learn, and this was so great. And he goes, hearing the stories you guys have, and hearing folks come through the booth and sharing insights, and he goes, I learned a whole lot this week. And that's kind of what we've been kind of trying to beat home this week. Hope is helping. I mean, the stuff like this, it's competition, but it's also a learning. Exactly what you and I said.
Every time.
We got another camera. So we got Bree on camera. Here's the shots.
Awesome.
And that's pretty good.
It's a big shot.
And the cheering crowd. She's here locally from Tucson, AZ.
Tucson.
Yeah, also known as Tucson. But folks around here call it Tucson.
Tucson.
Yeah, they of course goofing on each other. But anyway, so it's part of the deal of, and even like yourself, you learn something, and that's what we've been telling folks. Every time you put bowling shoes on, you're never going to master it, and always learn something, no matter the good, the bad, and different. And you learned this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
As did Mr. Tim Simonis and plenty of others. Actually, we've shared this story numerous times. Josh actually stopped me. He didn't stop me. We were hanging out between blocks yesterday, and he's like, Mr. Schlemmer, I got some questions for you. And ultimately it came back to me kind of explaining how that gem works, and he explained to me he had other balls in his bag, and he goes, I thought I was going to corner more, and I explained why. Bree with the shot, high flush, boom. That was huge. And that is
that's the U.S. Open champion.
That right there, folks,
everybody.
is your U.S. Open champion. And again, you're out on tour, you're doing your thing. You're going to get those moments yourself, and so it's cool that you're here. We're creeping in some of these matches. Or Bree needed that one, so she just needs count here to take this early 1-0 lead. Situations and mindsets, and of course, me and Emil are we're old and removed from bowling. Not putting ourselves in those situations because we're obviously on this side of the camera where we belong. So in the case of that for you, that's a pretty good shot. Tipple tumble. She takes the 1-0 lead on Briley. And again, that was a hard-fought match. It came all the way down to the 10th, and she threw them when she needed them. Mindset of, when you're in that spot and you get into situations, is it hard for you to sometimes shut off what's happening around you? Are you one of those that able to like go into this special zone when it comes to like TV time, or what is your mindset during those situations?
Well, so I've made 6 stepladders in my young professional career, and I've won 2 games.
Okay.
Of those 6, so I'm still trying to figure it out myself.
Okay.
I
lead with the high trip. Yeah.
Of course, college is a different animal. College bowling is completely different.
So that's what I explained
to
folks.
In high moments in college, since I was, McKendree's anchor for 3 years, I lived for those pressure moments where I needed to double in the 10th.
You want a ball in hand, and you're like,
absolutely.
Hey girls, I got this.
Yeah.
Step aside.
I was definitely that person. I was like, if someone needs to strike, put me in. I will figure it out.
And speaking of coach, shout out to Shannon O. But
so I like those pressure moments. Unfortunately, I'm by myself now. So when I'm in that situation, it's not as comforting to be there. Yeah. Just because, I don't have my team behind me.
Yeah.
It's all still new. So I'm still trying to figure out how to perform in stepladder matches like that. But what I do know and what I need to practice on, which you can only really get practice by being in that situation, is I just need to trust that I know what I'm doing and that I can execute a good shot.
Yeah,
if my angles and I have the right ball.
Never second guess yourself.
Right. If I have the right ball in my hand and I know that my angles are good, I'm going to at least get to pocket. But I can't control what happens after, behind the foul line,
Once it comes off your hand, it's like we said, it's one of those things that you can't control the carry or pin action.
Yeah.
Or the luck factor like that. And but no, the educated guess prior to that, obviously, like you said, you have a different type of support system, whether it be the tour reps or, obviously in the case, like you mentioned before, your booth thing, having those extra set of eyes to help you.
Absolutely.
But again, it's situational. I know plenty of people that have gotten to those moments, both on the ladies tour, men's tour, senior tour, that never figure it out because it is such a mental thing. And it's not just our sport, it's any sport. When you look at folks that are, especially in other sports, lucky enough to get to the highest places. And speaking of craziness, right here on 7 and 8,
oh, wow.
I don't have the ability. I've just kind of learned the simple stuff, like I can turn my mic and your mic up and down. I don't know how to switch stuff. But so Fitzmagic's got the front 6, and Matt Jones has got double spare 4-bagger. So we got a barn burner over here. Emil has been working on some stuff, getting this other camera added over there on the behind Bree and those guys. So, we're in the window of having 3 cameras set to finish through. Because, again,
that'd be great.
The top 8 got the first round by. So all these lanes, we got all these pairs going again this next round. And, of course, as I'll teach you the new word that we created this week, I am the galactic eclipse, is also known as a black cloud. So all I had to do was reference it, and my man loses a string, and it didn't matter if it was a 3-bagger or a 6-bagger or a 7-bagger. Or I could even say something like, oh, hey, so-and-so's clean through whatever. Yeah, they were bound to open. And so I'm the modern-day Del Ballard, as I've coined myself. But, yeah, it started as a black cloud, and it's now morphed into a galactic eclipse. is
I
what
like
I
it.
am. So,
I like it.
and down here on 3 and 4, well, those guys are actually, again, another tight match
Kind of
between
back and
those
forth,
two.
yeah.
And again, Fitzmagic, unforced error. Not only did he club him from the string, and he goes 8-1. So I will try not to bring attention to people that are having maybe immediate success, because I seem to derail that success.
Well, then let's try to reverse psychology this. So
Oh,
Chris
see?
over here has got 2 splits in 4 frames.
Oh, my
He
man
went
needs,
7 out,
He needs to do
9
something
spare
different.
strike, 3, 6, 7, 10.
Okay.
So reverse psychology. Oh, I thought he had it.
And that
I wanted him to
is
make that.
6-3. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
a little bit of a rough start.
So Chris is going to turn it around over there,
Yeah.
just
And
because we
against-
talked about it.
And I will tell you, folks, just there on the right of your screen, Dylan stepping up. Dylan has a unique style, repeats shots very well, and for him to get to the qualifying spot, my man's pretty versatile. Like,
Yeah.
he had one squad where he was bowling here in front of us, and he was playing like 22, 23. And then another squad, he came through in front of us, and he was playing like up 8.
Yeah. I mean,
And-
it just, goes to show just how beautiful the sport of bowling is. Everybody can throw it so differently, but as long as you're accurate and you believe in your game and you're confident in it,
Yeah.
and you know what you can and can't do and what you're best at,
Yep.
it doesn't matter what it looks like.
Absolutely. And that's the whole thing of...
And he embraces that very well,
Yep.
I think.
As you learned the sport yourself, and obviously you had some good coaching along the way, and you learned good coaches will reference other players. And like I would tell people all the time, I've been around a long time. And I would tell folks, I'm not going to teach you to throw it like Pete Weber or teach you how to throw it like Walter Ray.
Right.
Like, those guys are good what they do. Like, you wouldn't teach that style. Now you can take aspects of the game and try and emulate that, but I'm not going to say, oh, you have to do this just like Walter, or you have to do this like Parker, you have to do this like Pete,
Right.
or you got to throw this like Norm Duke. Like, there's a reason why those guys are legends, or Liz Johnson, or Kelly Kulik, or any of the girls. And it's one of those things that for me and helping bowlers, it all comes back to repeatability. And look at that, that's a pocket 6-pin.
After he
Emil saw
threw,
that, right?
he had a
Okay.
2-4-7-10
Everyone
on the
saw
right
it.
lane. Like, it was a light.
Everybody saw it.
light hit,
Not
right?
just me. Okay, I wasn't like with blinders on. It was just me. Okay.
Well, I mean, I switched back to it just in time, so
Perfect.
everyone actually did see it.
All right. So as we thank Emil for getting the cables, cords, and camera number 3 up and cranking, it worked out well, huh?
It did. I thought we were going to have more time,
Yeah.
but we rolled right into match play.
Yep.
So
I don't think we rolled. We just kind of jumped.
Keep
into
on,
it.
keep on.
Yeah, there's no like smooth rolling. It was just like,
you
oh,
are
hey, by the way,
correct.
get to your pair.
We
We're going.
jumped into that body of water.
And the
known as
look on
match
Emil's
play.
face was like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing this.
Yeah, we're fine. No
And-
worries. We're all good.
Yep. So we just kind of covering the gamut here, going back and forth across.
First of all, I
the board.
appreciate you two for handling this for me. So thank you very much.
Well, don't worry.
No, but we haven't done a whole lot. We're just chatting.
We'll give you.
That's all we do.
We'll give you our address
You know
for
the deal, Hope.
you can pay us with small unmarked bills.
Yeah.
I will
preferably.
actually. Yes, I will.
I'll have my people call your
I
people.
will
Yeah,
be
there you
sending
go.
Shalem a thank you gift for sure. I wouldn't know.
Hope,
Seriously.
Hope goes, she goes, I hope the check's in the mail with that. I could use that to offset this week.
No kidding.
We were chatting. And that's a pretty good shot. Oh, man. I thought it was a pretty good shot off his hand. And
Oof.
he's shaking his head because it turned into, well, he got 5. Leaving the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over there in lane 3. And again, him and Dave down 3 and 4. Brian and Dave going back and forth. Nobody's really taking a hold of that match. It's kind of, I don't know. I feel ups and downs. And everywhere you look is a tight match. Andrew Kane. All right. Goes to the face, gets 6. Does he like it? Oof. Slinging wood. All right. Little double. And Bree with the staying
Davis
clean.
net conversion.
So yeah, again, each of these matches, it's going back and forth each frame.
If you guys wouldn't mind to just for my own reconnaissance, give me a small, brief update on. Well, I know 7 and 8 is hopping.
Yep.
7 and 8 is the hopping pair, but
looks like Fitz can no, sorry, Matt Jones can take care of Fitz.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind an update, give us an update.
So on 3 and 4, Brian won the first game.
Okay.
And so to give you a synopsis there, like Brian had a commanding, like he had what
He went spare 5-bagger?
Yeah, spare 5-bagger, and then opened
Strike,
3
open,
of the
open.
last 4 frames, and so Regana had a chance to double to shut him out, and Dave, a little bit of a high, ends up leaving a kind of a weird 7-10
Yep.
that first game. So that one came down to the wire.
Yep. So Brian won the first one on 3 and 4. Perry beat Kane on 5 and 6.
And speaking of that, Andrew, like we just mentioned, went through the face 6-2, and he actually got 6-2. So
Yep.
that match again spins back to Andrew had a lead,
Yep.
opens the door. So if Mr. Perry can catch a double here, it changes completely.
Yep. Matt Jones took the first game over Fitzgerald on 7 and 8. 9 and 10, Eileen took the first one. On 11 and 12, Dahmer won game 1. 13 and 14, that was a really close match. So Briley could have doubled and gotten, what did I say, 7 in the 10th. He flat 10'd the second shot in the 10th, which opened the door for Bree. She doubled and won. So Bree took the first game. 15 and 16, Dylan won the first game. And then 17 and 18, Mr. Anthony won the first game.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's where we are right now.
And so speaking of opportunity, I just mentioned how Ben Perry could step up and take control of that match, and he leaves a big split. So the galactic eclipse of Schlem is still intact. That's a pretty good pitch there.
I wish I would have brought a gem.
Have you thrown the magic gem yet?
I haven't.
Okay. You'll like that
I haven't
one.
ordered. I've ordered one, but I haven't drilled it yet.
Oh, Bree comes up light, and that's one of those shots where she comes back talking to herself. She's like, "Oh, Bree, why did you do that?"
Just a little team meeting happening over there. That's
team
what I
meeting.
like to call them.
Team meetings in
Yeah.
your head or outside.
Or
a vocal team meeting. I said to myself, "Self, what are you doing?"
When I talk to myself like that, but let's say I throw a not so great shot and I'm a little disappointed, right? I'll call myself Hopi. So I'll turn around and be like, "Oh, Hopi, what are you doing?"
And I can recall, I believe that was maybe what you said or something else whenever you were here in front of us and you went 9 out, 9 out. And the look in your face, you're like, really? Can we not pick a spare?
Yep.
So you were having one of those meetings because you're like,
Oh, yeah.
we, meaning that more than one of you.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Hope and Hopi talk a lot.
Okay.
And we have lots of company meetings.
And Bree going to convert that? Oh, she sneaks one. So, again, that matches
2 pins.
within count. And Andrew goes through the face again.
8.
So down on it's Mr. Waugh down on 3 and 4. So 120 strike 9th, strike in the 10th. Is that a turkey?
That's a big double.
He just left the 10
No,
pin.
10 pin.
10 pin.
So does that? Let's see. Dave's got 130
So
spare up,
it's
so he can get
171.
150. He can get to 180.
30, 83.
Waugh's got 171 with the spare,
Yeah.
and then 181 is the max for Dave.
Okay. So again,
So he needs the first
Dave has a chance again. We'll see if he steps up and.
And this is a one. Oh, I'm sorry, Brian is in control here, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, the other thing too. Let me check that. Don't forget about pins in some of these scenarios.
Oh.
The
Forgot
pins-
that part.
Pins do carry
So
over.
who gets pins?
So let me double check. So Brian Wall's
mark
ball
it
and
down.
scratch, and Dave Sirigliano gets 5 a game.
So he gets 5. All right. Well, Brian still has.
So he's actually kind of leading.
So it's Dave and who?
Brian.
So
They
Dave,
both get pins.
No,
I'm sorry. Brian, no pins. Dave, 5.
Dave gets
Dave
5.
five.
And,
Does anybody else in the field get 5 pins?
Eileen.
Eileen gets 5.
and she won her game, first game scratch. So
Yeah.
that was good there.
It's just them two.
I believe that's it.
Okay.
So
Well, now we know.
Matt Jones moves on. He wins his match 2-0 over Mr. Fitzgerald. So 258, 236. And those guys, you know, it's one of those things that it's got a, you know, frustration for Michael Fitzgerald and the fact of 236 is a commanding lead.
I mean,
Kinda
at
wins
230 this weekend felt like a 300.
We look across here. He's winning any other game currently on the floor.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, just that pair, he got the wrong guy at the wrong time.
Yeah. That's always the worst when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So Brian won that one as well? Yeah, he didn't get the first one. All right.
Correct.
So Brian won that match.
Yep. So. All right. Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
All right. We need. So Sims here needs to stay on track.
Dave won.
Dave won?
Yes.
Oh.
5 pins.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
well, he put his balls away.
Did they forget?
Oh, I'm on board now.
It didn't register down there.
Ah.
They forgot.
So he's going to put his balls back.
So.
All right, so we're tied at 1-1.
See? We're all a little bit off. All right, here we go. So Carl has gone down there to help solidify it. So yes, they are going to game 3, down on 3 and 4.
Oh, Keith Dahmer too. Thank you, Matthew. Keith Dahmer.
Oh, Keith Dahmer gets
senior.
5 pins.
He's a
senior
senior.
right here in
Dahmer
front
also
of us.
gets 5?
Yep. And he's currently
I shall
leading
write
on
that
this scratch. So
Yep, I don't remember the scores from the first game.
And this is through the step ladder as well. Just FYI.
okay,
So
perfect.
if either of the players with pins make the step ladder, those pins do carry over to the step ladder.
Okay,
Interesting.
and looks like down on 17-18, Eddie Van Deniker is having a tough go of it. So I can only assume.
Oh, but they both opened
Yeah.
in the eighth.
Okay.
So we
it's
have
within
134 for Eddie and 146 for Josh.
Yeah. Okay. So
So that's
closer than I
close.
thought. Yep.
Yeah. I believe that miss for Josh was unmakeable as well. That hurts.
Yes.
Then Perry just, I don't know what he made. Let me check the.
It's a big shot there for Josh.
I think he made the 6-8. Ben Perry did,
Really? Okay.
which could be ultimately for a win.
Could be, yeah.
So he can strike out, or strike on the field, excuse me, for 182. And his opponent,
Andrew Kane.
Kane, 2 lefties over there. I tell you, every time I see Andrew Kane in a match play situation of the events that I've streamed in Phoenix,
Yeah.
he always bowls a lefty. Every time.
Isn't it weird how that works out sometimes?
Nonetheless.
And Dave Soriano throwing 10 back. It looks like a ball change as well down there. So,
He might as well.
yeah, at this point, I mean,
Go big or go home.
Let's go full
Game
screen
3.
real quick to Andrew. 'Cause, this
no.
is
3 with the unforced error.
open a mark, and Andrew Kane is alive.
Oh.
Wow. Nikes. That was almost a 6-7.
That's a good break. That's a lot of 9.
Yeah, that was a whole lot of 9.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this bear in 3
Wow. Yes, spare.
or
3.
4. Sorry.
Spare 4, and that one's going to game 3. We'll keep it here for a moment. And we got, what, 10th frame over on 15 and 16. All right,
Yes,
he made
that
the
game
spare.
looks to be just about over though.
Let's go there.
It's
for a
already
minute.
over.
Yeah, Mr. Mays has
Yep.
40 pins
Chris wins this one.
with a strikeout.
So
yeah,
they'll be
he's-
going to game 3 as well.
He's fought back to extend that to game number 3.
All
Let's
right.
see. Eddie struck in the 9th and then left a head pin for
Yeah.
a shot in the 10th.
By the way, for those
spare,
of you,
spare, so that'd be
all
170.
you bowlers at home, another words of wisdom from Roto Schlem from back in the day. People are like, oh, what do you think? What do you see? I go, well, always start with trying to hit the one in the front.
Yeah, well.
But unfortunately, Eddie missed the one in the front and had to convert it for a spare. So the one closest to you is usually helpful when you're trying to strike.
Yes.
So you want to knock that one down.
This looks like we're going to game 3 on 9 and 10. Potentially.
Ooh,
So 201.
okay.
Sorry, 206.
206.
206 for Eileen.
Yep.
So she's got, yes.
Yep.
Yes. So any, 8 or better on the first shot would still keep Justin in the driver's seat there.
Mm-hmm. And over here, 5 and 6, the lefties will go to game 3. That was a pretty good shot for a hopper 7, as in the pin deck wiggled a little bit and the 7-pin hopped.
A little bounce.
Little bouncy bounce.
I can't remember who
boy.
it was, but someone threw a shot yesterday, and they missed the head pin right, unfortunately.
A lot of people did that.
Yeah. But the way the pins hit the back of the deck, the 4-pin, because he left the 1-2-4,
Yep.
jumped so much. I've never seen a pin jump that high.
So Emil is,
So
All right.
he
so
didn't get 8 or better.
yeah.
So now he has to make this and strike to
to
tie,
That's big. Wow.
which would then be
Okay.
Big spare. Big
Huge spare.
spare. I hate that spare.
Not a fan?
Any multi-pin makeable spare with the head pin scares me.
Yeah.
Because obviously I just missed the head pin if I left it. And now you're asking me to hit it again? Questionable.
At best.
So dramatic finish down there for 17 and 18. Josh missed his spare in the 10th.
And
So
can he-
they tied as well.
They tied?
174.
They tied at 174.
They did.
So we're going to need Carl to go down to the end pair.
what happened.
They tied.
Crossover for 9. 205. That's a
Yep.
loss.
So
We've
Eileen
got a
wins that
tie.
one.
17 and 18. So yeah, Josh Anthony chopped the spare. Him and Eddie Van Aneker tied at 174 that game.
This is game 3.
They're in game 2,
Yes.
right? Yes.
So 11 through 14 are in game 2. Everybody else
Yeah,
is
they're
in
a
game
little bit
3.
behind. So yeah. So they just finished their game 2. So yeah, right here in front of us. That
All right, so Dahmer
Yeah.
wins this match.
So I believe what is going to take place on tie situations between matches, and Hope would be familiar with this. It's kind of like the college bowling system, where you do tie within games of a match, so everyone gets half, where you still got to get to 2 in this case. So
Yeah.
I believe the ties will be broken by 9th and 10th frame roll-offs, so someone can get a win.
Just
Oh,
for the
no.
one game.
No,
Yep,
they're
here
going
they go.
They're going 9th and 10th right now.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Any
Yeah.
tie in a game is going to be broken by 9th and 10th frame
Gotcha.
roll-off to
Okay.
determine a winner for that
Yeah.
game.
So this is a must-win scenario for Eddie. Must win.
And we watch Bree here.
She's throwing some different balls.
She did double. She did change balls, and now
Yep.
she's going to a different ball again to see if she can get something that gives her a better look. Because that match is now going to 3 games
Yep,
as
this
well.
match is over. So Burley won that one. Or not match, sorry. Game is over. Well, everybody's clean down there. It's a good start.
Yeah, Brian Wall with a double. He went 3 spare, 7 spare double. And Dave,
Bree changes balls, gets 8. Eddie V throws a strike up on his first shot.
All right, so Dylan and Chris are in game 3. Josh and Eddie are battling it out for game 2.
Mm-hmm.
that's just
So
to
Eddie
the right
struck
of,
at the first and the 9th, I guess.
Yeah, just to the right of this camera for folks watching. So that's Josh Anthony's ball going down the lane on the right of your screen.
Looked like high flush for Josh.
Mm-hmm.
And they remain tied. Brawley's got a really good look at that purple.
Sreggiano with a strike.
Ooh, trips the 6 for Josh.
All right, so it gives him
That's
a double.
big.
Looks like Dylan's gone through a couple balls over on that pair as well.
Yep.
I think, again, like we talked about the number of games and the transitions, some pairs are a little bit more, a little nicer than others, if you will.
Yeah. Oh! Josh went straight through the head pin and rolled the, what is that, 247 forward
Yep.
for the 3-bagger.
So, obviously, whatever he gets, so it automatically forces Eddie to step up and match him.
Yeah, at
So
the very
He's
least.
going to have to go double, and well, depending on what he does here. So,
Wow.
down here to our left, the lefties are duking it out.
Josh goes high and leaves it 2-pin for 59.
Okay, so Eddie must get
He's gotta
double
get 'em all.
9 to tie, all 3 to win.
And he needs it too. Josh won that first game. Wow. This is so exciting.
I know, right? It was like when we were talking about the kind of the cut number last night, and then what happened today with the cut number. Should have seen Emil went through, I don't know, he had notes and numbers flying all over the piece of paper. Like, oh, what about so-and-so? Oh, what about so-and-so? We were just chasing everything back and forth.
I can only imagine.
We could change steps up. Burton, all right.
It was just like tuition.
No,
And
I
that's
bet. I
exactly.
bet.
Yeah, and we talked about it, because it's one of those things where you see the number, and it's, like you said, oh, you're getting that mentality of, man, I got to shoot 230 to give myself a chance. Well, but they've seen it too many times where, somebody shoots 230 to get just inside the number. Somebody inside the number shoots 170 to take back to that spot.
Yep.
Very rare do you see multiple people go in, but there's times where you've seen that number move. I want to say it actually happened when I've been stopping with you guys in Iowa.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
The one
The scores were outrageous in Iowa.
yeah, because I was only there for practice day and day one of the first event.
Eddie
Is that the
has
double?
the double in the
All
top.
right, he's got the double, so he needs this one.
One more to win.
Giving him
The game.
So you're saying there's a chance. He's got a chance to win the game and extend this match.
That's huge.
Good shot. But anyway, it was one of those things I thought when I said that first event, because it was the qualifying deal, like the last game, like the number went up like 30 or 40 pins or
Yeah,
something.
that happened a lot
Like
in
it
Iowa.
came out of nowhere. Like, oh, it's going to creep up because I think I was talking to Sean Ryan. Oh, it's come up, creep up a little bit. All of a sudden he's like, no, dude, like it just
No,
went up 40.
It,
and I'm
it
like,
jumped.
what?
Yeah. That happened quite a few times. I believe it happened somewhere else too.
Eddie V,
Where was it? Grand Rapids, maybe? I don't know.
here's the pitch. Does he like it?
Oh,
No.
missed it right.
Wow.
So that's
Missed
that.
all of
Josh
it.
wins that match.
So
That match is done now.
Josh advances.
It's a good effort for Eddie, though.
It was. I mean, he gave it. I mean, like you said, he gave himself a chance with catching that double, which he had to have.
Yeah, and he got it.
Dylan with a strike, hanging tough in that match. Let's see if Bree can put something together here. It's Eternity Pie, Tickle. No, okay.
I feel like Bree's kind of stuck in that spot right now where her bigger balls are burning up too much. They're not seeing the right part, but if she goes to something cleaner, she blows right through that friction.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. We've
she's
talked
kinda
about
stuck
it,
in the middle.
Getting to those hustles, and
Yeah.
obviously, you've seen it firsthand. Bree and the hustles are a match made in heaven.
Yep.
When they work, but when they don't,
Yeah.
she needs a little bit more, but not quite to the big stuff.
I believe one of the balls that she tried in that last game was the Hustle Camo. But I don't think the reaction was as good as she was looking for because I believe she just threw the Eternity Pie on that shot.
Yep. And down here on 3 and 4, we got a pressure cooker going as well. Ditch Regalno, pretty good pitch. And he's nodding like he knew he missed it big 4.
That's late in the game, too.
It is. And
And talk about lost of count, too.
yep.
He's got to get 2 pins here.
Oh. Is that what we call Hall of Fame carry?
Yeah, the interesting thing in that match is, Andrew, there's no way he really likes his ball motion right now, but he's getting a break or two. He's turned it into a double.
Yeah, Bree, exactly what you said there, Hope. It's one of those deals of that ball, even though it's a bigger ball, it's kind of Reed's tumbling going forward, and now it's 1, 2, 8, 10. Oh, backdoor 2 for Chris Mays down there. Major Kane again crosses over, catches. He crossed over both shots to parlay that to a turkey over there on 5 and 6. Andrew Kane.
He's not pleased.
Andrew talking to himself. Andrew talking to himself.
Oh, he's going to take it.
Yeah, well, you can't give it back, so you have to take it.
All right. No trouble there for Brian.
See Ben here stepping up in the battle of lefties over here on 5 and 6. This looks pretty good, and unfortunately leaves a 7. Brawley catches the messenger across the deck in for the turkey. We are unforced error. I believe, you know how the cloud works now. You're like, you got 7. They should be able to pick that up. Yeah, we've seen that all too often this entire week, where it's like, maybe a 6-10 or
no trouble,
2-4.
not a split.
Not a trouble,
anyway.
And then all of a sudden chop or miss it completely, and you're like, oh, okay. Changes completely.
So 171 to 160?
Yep.
So Brian still has count here.
Still, that's a pretty good shot.
Big shot, yeah.
Walked it out. So, it's going to come down to, again, who shows up in the 9th and 10th there.
And then which one
Dylan.
gets pins? Dave gets pins.
Dave gets 5.
So really it's 171, 165.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big shot for Brian there, so he can't be shut out. I'm sorry, he can't be shut out.
By the way, Hope has now joined the Cloud Club.
Yeah.
She's like, out of trouble, all right.
Yeah, I
that was the last thing I heard before I went to turn that camera.
Yeah, that one's on me.
7 count, it's not a split.
I've been telling you all week what movie to go watch.
we can put that one on me.
I do need you to watch
crossover
that
for
movie
Bree.
now, so you can
I
understand what I'm
know,
saying.
I got you. And Dave answers with a strike up as well in the 9th, so it's going to see who performs there in the 10th. And I would tell you what, over here, Dylan's not going away.
No, he's got 2 spares and then a 3-bagger.
You can see, folks, at the bottom of your screen again, you can see Ben Perry and Andrew Kane, and then you'll get a chance to see a little bit of
Battle of Lefties and a little bit of
3 and 4.
Okay.
With our Brian Wall, Dave Sirigliano match. One item I do want to, now I don't remember what that item was I wanted to note.
Big double there.
Yeah.
For Dave.
Oh, it was a Solo's question. Solo legit said, I want to see how Simo is on playing. Sometimes the guys that can get in away from the traffic and wheel it do well on these flattish kind of things. And the way this one's setting up, I'm very intrigued how Simo might play them, because
it's going to be what Perry catches.
Yep.
He used Thane that entire qualifying set. But like we saw yesterday, it's one of those things that he can throw a backup ball. It may be Thane from the left, maybe Thane from the right, and maybe an idle from in. I mean, you never know with him, or phase 2. And he's got the messenger. No, 10 pin. So, but he got the first hit in the 10th. So he is going to force Mr. Wah to perform.
He's got to get the first one.
He's going to have to.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Hey-oh. I think Barley had a little area check there, because off his hand, he threw his hand straight up to the right. He's like, ooh, that's going right and not coming back.
All right. So that's a 209. So really, it's 214.
That is
for Dave.
Correct. Andrew with a pretty good pitch right there. And that That is Chris
Yep.
with
So
the
not Dave. Brian needs the first one. Must have.
Left bottom of your screen, folks. Oh, and he got it.
gets it.
Shake him up.
And Chris over here has a double turkey. So after the 7-2, he's got a 6-pack.
Yeah, Dylan didn't like that shot.
Or an infamous.
Ooh.
Wow. You saw that as
You
well?
see that? I didn't get a single one of those.
I glanced over at the same time. That's where we both
All the
reacted at
times
same
I
time.
went high.
That was
Not one.
That's enough.
And a blower 7-10 to finish. But that is enough.
He had to
All
triple
right.
check it this time.
he's like, okay.
He just looked at the score just to make sure he did the quick math. Like,
Right.
okay.
Are we good? We're done?
Brian, you are a winner. My man. When I was going up the concourse right after Theo announced the top 24,
Yeah.
he was standing in front of the counter. And I said, way to strike out, my man. And he went, imagine someone, and we've all done it, kind of that exhale, and you put your duck lips together.
Yep.
Right? And he was like, with his eyes open a little. I'm like, hey, man, you did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sneaky.
Yep. So I'm going to give a shout out to my boy Jeff Carter because there's always joking around. And this time out on tour, I've known him a long time. So talking about Chris over here with a 6-bagger, I'm like, oh, it'd be one of those deals like a tour up and go back and forth. Like, oh, would you have that game? I said, how'd the game go? He's like, well, I started with the turkey. I go, yeah, then what? He goes, well, then I doubled. And I'm like, okay. He goes, yeah, and then I got the next one. I'm like, so you threw the front 6? Yeah. But he would go, oh, I turkeyed, but then I threw a double, and then I got the next one. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's funny.
Oh, excuse me, Larry. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you, Larry, and supporting.
Ooh, late fall.
Wow.
That was big.
Barely gets the 10 out, leaves only the 7. Yeah, that was big.
That would have put some life back into Mr. Perry had that 10 stayed standing.
Steve, that's a great question. I'm not sure if it's online. If it would be, I'll check the Agent On Facebook page.
I was with Bree throw her spare ball,
She did.
and
Yep.
she went 10 back.
She did.
Okay.
Yeah. Struggling to find ball reaction with
is,
anything else.
that
Threw a
is-
spare ball at the head pin
I
and
was
struck.
going to say frustration overload, and choosing to play that way.
Oh, can I see that bracket real quick?
Yes.
Thank you.
Andrew did convert that 7-pin over there. So
All right. I believe that.
that is enough.
Yep.
Andrew Kane will advance off of 5 and 6. And
Bradley's got a big lead here on Bree. So this is a hard spare.
oh yeah,
That can make it interesting.
you spoken like someone who's tried to pick or not a fan of that spare.
I
She's like,
think if I were to guess my percentage of making this spare, it's probably less than 20.
I was going to say for the longest time back in my tour days on the PBA tour, this was the most missed spare.
It is
And
by far
it was
the
one of those
hardest.
deals,
Yeah.
just like that.
Yep.
Washouts, the different variations washouts, and obviously they kept all the stats even before we had lane talk and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Washouts were converted at like almost 20 or 30% higher than the 3, 6, 9, 10.
Yeah, I
You might as
believe
well-
it.
And I finally got to some of the guys would be like, just when you leave that, just walk up, hit the reset button. And swipe it off the deck. Don't even bother.
Yeah, every time someone makes them on the women's tour, we always joke it feels like a double whenever you
Oh,
make
absolutely.
that spare.
Yeah. Dylan rocks catches a strike. Unfortunately, he just caught the buzzsaw, which is Chris Mays down there, who, yeah, after the 7-2, throws the next 8. And Bree, it's a different ball. And
that's
yeah,
that
flat
hustle
10.
camo. Flat 10. Oh. Is that a split? No, it's fine.
All right.
40,
as we're
202. I
coming
think Bradley
down.
still has 230. Possible. Yeah.
Steve, I'm going to post a quick bracket here on the Bullstream TV Facebook page. I don't think there's a few brackets running around, but obviously, you know, Theo has one. And when we start the next round, it's going to be highest seed versus lowest remaining seed, and that's how it's going to work.
Okay.
So highest seed versus lowest remaining seed, et cetera, and so forth.
Okay.
So from that point, bracket or situation, there is no set bracket.
All right. So. And it looks like 1690. So essentially a mark here will end it. And Bradley will win.
Stranger things have happened.
That is true.
Does he like it?
Just like that. Ta-da. Now we just gotta keep it on the lane. What does he need? 7 pins? 8 pins? Not
Trying to-
even. 4. 3? I don't know. My math is not working right now.
Your math's on vacation.
Listen, I checked out yesterday as soon as I threw my last shot.
Understandable.
Yeah. So I can do simple math like spares and strikes and, you know, plus 20, plus 30, but that's too much thinking for today. I've only had one.
Left
oh,
it
look,
again.
there it is.
Yay.
All right, well, it's over. So
Yes, it
he
is.
needed pins, and he got pins.
Bree
All right,
with the
so let's see.
spare ball.
So the lowest remaining seed, is that how you said it was done?
The lowest remaining seed will face the highest seed in the next round. Of course, our
Right.
next round will feature the top 8 players that received their first round bye.
And then
Seeding is based on their cashing round finishes.
all right.
Bree. 7 spare strike. Collects 178. Probably had. And by the way, he left the 3, 6, 9, 10, and he missed it a different way there in the 10th. So he didn't chop it the same way. He chopped it a different way.
4 seed was Halen, wasn't it? I'll create my own bracket over here.
Yeah, 4 seed was Brian Halen.
Who was 5?
Cortez Shank.
And then so 5 would be Maze.
Down on, we got practice going down on 25 and 26 for the top 8. That is the warm-up pair, if you will. As their
Who was the 6th seed?
6 is Kyle Abbas.
tabulating the scores, and we
Simo was 7, right?
Simo is 7. Robert
So he
Smith is
goes-
8.
I got the matchups.
All right, Hope, what we got?
All right. Well, we don't have lane assignments yet, but we have Zweig versus is it Wah? Brian Wah. Okay. So that's 1 versus 24. We have 7 and 8. Then we have Keplinger and
5
Jones.
and 6 will be the 4 seed Brian Halen and 15 seed Josh.
But you were faster than Theo. Hope,
I was.
So
I
wanna
beat
let
him.
I just want to
I
give you your
won that
credit.
race.
She was like a ninja.
Number seed Cortez Shank and number 14 Chris Mays.
What line was that? What did he just say?
On 9
I
and
missed that
10
one. 9 and
will be
10.
the
7 and
7
8 for the
seed
previous
Emil
one.
Simonson and the 12 seed Andrew Kane.
Ooh, that's a
On
good
11
match.
and 12 will be the 2 seed Alec Keplinger.
Kane
and the
Simonson.
23 seed Matt Jones. On 13 and 14, your 8 seed Robert Smith and your 11 seed Eileen Linares. On 15 and 16, 6 seed Kyle Abbas and 13 seed Keith Dahmer. And on 17 and 18, your 3 seed Adrian Hare and your 16 seed Riley Huff. We're going to give you guys a second to get to your pairs, and then we'll turn it on for 5 minutes of warm-up.
All right, so we'll start from the top. So on 3 and 4, we have Cortez Shank, the 5 seed, against Chris Mays, 14 seed. On 5 and 6, we have Josh Anthony against Brian Halen. So Halen was 4 seed, Anthony was 15 seed. On 7 and 8, we have Matt Zweig, our number 1 seed, against Brian Waugh, our 24 seed. On 9 and 10, we have Anthony Simonson, our number 7 seed, against Andrew Kane, our 12 seed. On 11 and 12, we have Alec Keplinger, our 2nd seed, against, what's Jones's first name? Matt Jones,
Matt Jones.
our 23rd. On 13 and 14, we have Robert Smith, our 8 seed, versus Eileen Linares, our 11 seed. 15-16, we have Abbas versus Dahmer, so 6 versus 13. And then lastly, on 17 and 18, we have Briley Howe is going against Adrian.
You probably want to tell your booth thing what Barry's on. He was
Yep.
following Simo.
And
he
he's going to
goes-
be right in front of me.
He goes, wait, I'm not down this way.
Yep. So those are the matchups.
You're right. She's like, okay, I got him. Yep, before Theo was able to bless us
Yep.
with his, she's like, I got this.
I beat him. I won that.
Ka-chow.
I win. If that's my one win this weekend, I'm okay with that.
Come on, you win every day. All you do is win, 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 no matter what.
I got money on my mind.
There you
'cause I'm
go.
never giving up.
And yeah, as Theo announced, we get the top 8 moving in. They're going to get, I guess they give them, what, a couple minutes, a shot on each lane or 2 shots on each lane?
I believe it's 2 shots. 2 shots on each
Is
lane.
there anybody that we're waiting on? Are you
Because
good?
everybody's warm now since the top 8 had 25 and 6 to.
They get
Oh.
5 minutes of practice, okay?
Is it 5 minutes?
That's what it,
Players that were eliminated that round. I think they will be ready on checks and give them about 5 minutes.
okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Not messing around. So if you were eliminated this past round, you will be able to collect a check here shortly, momentarily.
Payday.
Without further ado, here comes the warm-ups of
Here we go.
the final 16 remaining here at the inaugural Agent Ong Open at Bowlero Kyrene. It's been quite the adventure and ride getting to this point, but a fun one. You know, it's always an adventure anytime bowling is involved, but there's always dramatics. There's always a tie. There's always, any number of things. And so for those, I think, Emil, you had somebody earlier asking about what Simon was going to do. That right there was reactive from in. He circled the lane a little bit with a phase 5, it looked like, with surface. He was sanded that this morning. And he just grabbed another reactive ball as well. So obviously Simo seeing things a little bit different on this pair. He's bowling Andrew Kane, who is going to be playing all right. All right. So as we get practice underway, we got a couple minutes. We've got some moving and shaking going on. Looks like Hope is going to be the official tour rep for her guy right here in front of her.
I'll do my best, but really I just stand in the back and clap.
Yes.
Yeah,
I do want
but somebody got to do it, right?
Yeah.
I do want to thank Hope. We'll hear from Carl here in a moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, but Hope, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for letting me hang out for a little while.
Appreciate your willingness to be in the booth.
Yeah.
You're awesome.
This is why, Chris, whenever I see PWBA players, right, I feel at home too.
Okay.
Because they just come up and say, "Hey, you need me?" Because this is what happens on tour.
Right.
And like, yeah, let me see what Carl's going to do this first round, and then I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yes, we need you.
Well, I'm always around.
Hashtag.
I have nowhere else to be. So.
Yes, we need you.
That's a flare gun. He knows he can shoot the flare gun. Help! Somebody come to help me.
I'll get you like a little white flag, and you can just wave it around.
yeah,
I definitely
there
need
you
you for round one while I was getting that camera situated.
Yeah. And it all worked out.
Awesome.
So thank
right.
you, Hope.
Yes,
and,
thank you.
You be on standby.
I'll be here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got nowhere else to be. Bye, guys.
Thank you, dear. And that right there, folks, reigning Rookie of the Year to PWBA Tour, Hope Gramley. She was awesome with crunching numbers for us here and, yeah, sharing some insight and tidbits. You know, and like I said, the one thing I wanted to talk to her when you get into situations of like TV shows, and she was openly honest. She goes, I haven't figured it out yet. You know, and from a mental capacity, like Emil and I had talked, you know, hey, what's going through your mind when you do this? She goes, I've made a handful of them. She goes, I've only won 2 matches. She goes, I got stuff to learn. So, but like she said, she's got to put herself in those situations in order to learn.
Right.
So
she's halfway there from that vantage point.
absolutely.
That's great. It's great self-reflection.
Absolutely. And that's just being honest and true with yourself.
Correct. So we're going to get a bird's eye view, if you will, from at Simo here.
Mm-hmm. And again, like I said, that looks to be sanded. Looks like a marble. I don't know what that is exactly, but you know, he's got phase 5. Got some surface, so he's using reactive. Looks like marble pearl, I think, is the other ball. So again, opting. Again, this is what Simon and I talked about, and I made mention before. You know, he had a great year on tour. He only used urethane when he absolutely had to, and he's not feeling he has to use urethane on the spare. So, and of course, that could change in the blink of an eye if he sees something that goes different for him. But you know, having marble pearl and phase 5 both with surface on it. Robert Smith coming in over here on 13 and 14 again against Eileen. And as we mentioned before, Eileen gets 5-6 a game. And it's going to be an interesting match there, too. Exactly what Hope and I chatted about. Because Eileen keeps it in play. So she's going, not that there's any added pressure, but it's one of those deals of she hasn't split much. So she's going to force Robert to fill frames and kind of stay in that match. So, yeah, we got some other good matchups across the way here. Down on, we're waiting for everyone to get started here. Carl, what it is, yo? What's up? Oh, Chum Captain Carl back in here. There he is.
What's going on?
It's been fun. That's what's going on. Got some good stuff cranking.
Yeah, this next round of 16 is definitely some interesting matchups, some fun matchups to watch here.
And one thing to make note of right there, Matt Jones here in 11-12 just bowled pretty good set. Managed to get through that first round with the Thane. That right there was reactive. That's not Thane here on 11-12. So again, these guys are seeing something different. You know, because Matt's used Thane pretty much exclusively, and that was a reactive ball there, first shot in lane 11. So,
well, you know, going back to that pair-to-pair situation.
Yep.
And, you know, Matt, watching him navigate basically since the sweeper, right? He won the sweeper and then moves over to squad, or full squads, I should say. Sweeper, squad, did not bowl well, struggled, and basically spent the last game and a half working on strategy for the next day. Bowled extremely well, made the switch to urethane, and, you know, so we're also at a point where, you know, how many games essentially have we bowled at this point, right? We bowled 4 games in the Cashers round. Now most matches actually went 3 games for match play. Every pair was in play still. And now we're in round 2.
Yep.
And we did not re-oil the lane. So, you know, they might be seeing something different that maybe they haven't seen during these full 6-game qualifying rounds or squads.
And, you know, and prime example of that is we're going to go back. Like we're talking with these guys here in front of us. Cortez Shank down there on 3 and 4 actually is using urethane. So, again, it's what pair you're on, what you're seeing. There's a couple of minutes of practice. Yeah, and the characteristics of that pair. That's a pretty good pitch right there. Matt Jones off and running with a double. And is it 10 standing there? Okay. Matt got the 10 out, left only the 7. Here on 7 and 8, Matt Zweig, our leader from the Cashers round. Cortez converts the spread on there, strike. Oops, just a bit outside. And that's, again, Simo using reactive. That's a sanded phase 5. And Briley down there on 17 and 18 goes through the face, leaves a 3-10. So we'll see how that match unwinds. And the Dahmer catches a strike after starting 7-2. Oh, hey, look, there's a Bree. What it is, yo? What's up?
Hey, hello, hello. I'm back in the booth. I'm not bowling anymore, which, you know, that's bowling.
That's what it is. We're just trying to keep up with all the highlights and the different choices with the guys here this round. Folks, guys that used Feign before, now using reactive, or the exception of the match down there on 3 and 4, Cortez Shank is using urethane. And again, we watched, Captain Carl has to exit stage right. So me and Bree, or me and somebody, or I'm getting out of the way. Again, folks, I'm just a stunt double in the whole grand scheme of things. But Bree, I want to talk to you a little bit about, we saw the match here. It was a fight on 13 and 14.
It's been a fight all day.
And it was. I mean, obviously, again, you get a little bit more traffic and a little bit more play. Bowling balls. I mean, was it because you got to the plastic ball at one point? And Hope and I had a good conversation about it.
Yeah.
And because she called it out. I mean, obviously, you know, granted she was Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
You know, she's still learning things, and she saw the friction, and she's like, you know, Bree's ball. The bigger balls are seeing friction here.
Yeah,
her hustles, and she knows, obviously, Bree and the hustles.
Yeah.
She's like, the hustles aren't quite enough, and so is that what you kind of got in? 4-6.
Almost. You know, they were obviously, you know, if I go back to the Cashers round, game 1, you know, you get to break them down. So they were pretty similar for me game 1 today as they were yesterday. And then as I made the flip to the high end, which I didn't get to bowl on the high end yesterday, they were very touchy down there. And I just kind of grinded. But so much more urethane traffic for me today as opposed to yesterday. So I definitely, once I saw my boss saw all the urethane traffic, it really didn't know what to do. It was hooking early, and then I was trying to go to something cleaner, but then it was too weak, and so like I really struggled with ball reaction today and just grinded to get to match play. And when you don't have perfect ball reaction, then you start to struggle physically because you're trying to manufacture.
So you feel like there's a difference between manipulating it and trying to manufacture something because you feel you have to make the ball do something rather than let the ball do something.
So then you try to, like I said, try to manufacture it. So then you kind of get all off a little bit there, and and I didn't have super high expectations coming into match play, because I grinded to just get there, and I was like, okay, I'll see what happens. Again, ran into more urethane, and as the games progressed, I just started trying anything and everything I possibly could just to Hail Mary it. I don't know how I doubled the first ball, the first game.
I like how she goes Hail Mary. She didn't know. And a lot of times it would be one of those deals like, what do you think? I'm like, well, you should drop back and kick. Because I don't like your chances.
I doubled the first game in the 10th to beat him. I don't know how. I just, I guess it's just seasoned under pressure at this point.
And to bring things to light, so you bowled Bradley, and obviously he was using Thane.
Yes.
He's got his hands full down there. Adrian starts the match with double spare strike.
Yeah, and Adrian's bowled really well today.
Bradley's got a strike, and he's actually got 2 strikes. He can pick the split. He's got a 7 count, and now he just Greek churched. So he's he got 2 out of 5. So Adrian does have,
Yeah,
she's making him think. Let's put it that way.
She's been bowling really good today too.
Right.
So I mean, with these matches, best of 3, anything can really happen. So you just, if you have ball reaction to get you 9, I would say stay with it, and you're hitting the pocket, and but trying to get to that, I think today was a little bit harder. For a player like me, I think the straighter players like Eileen's bowling really good. She can kind of control the pocket. Adrian's also a little bit further right. So I think it really depends on the ball roll. I saw Simo start really good today, and he struggled a little bit on the high end too, because they're just different. The traffic is different compared to the last 2 days, 3 days. So that's why it makes this tournament anyone's ball game, really.
And and you brought it up, and I mentioned it before you hopped on here. We got Captain Carl's back in here. Made mention as we were previewing what these matches, and my thoughts. Simo with the back of ball to convert the washout 5. Simo doing Simo things, as we like to say.
Yep.
I told these guys, I'm like, Eileen is going to keep Robert in check because she keeps everything in front of her.
Yes.
And even Hope made mention of her. She's like, she keeps it in play. She leaves a lot of stuff she can pick. I said, yeah, occasionally you want to get away from her, it might wash out. I said, but man, and here we have it so far. Granted, she just 5'7".
Yes, and that could be all the urethane that was just on that pair I just came off of.
It could very well be. So we'll see how she navigates that spot. Now she is farther right.
Yes, she's way further right than
Andrew Kane with a pretty good pitch there to stay in this match. But yeah, see if she can convert the 5'7". Adrian trips some stuff, and she converts it like it's her job.
Couldn't see the 7 on that, but that was a good spare there. Yeah.
I love watching her, no emotion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we can touch upon that, because some bowlers, there is the highs, there is the lows, and then you have bowlers like her.
They're just, you couldn't tell if they're bowling good or bad.
You can't tell if she's shooting 260 or 160.
Yeah.
She would like, and it was fun talking to her yesterday. We had a pressure cooker going here right in front of us, 11 and 12, between Matt Jones and Alec Keppinger. And Andrew, pretty good pitch. Eileen with a good shot there.
Yeah. It's I mean, and this is like the format. with dropping the pins. Those players that maybe barely got in or got in from a desperado. This is house money. essentially.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know,
No,
how
for sure.
I would look at it, because they're like, well, I don't have to make up, maybe I was down like 180 pins to Simo, or was it Carson that led?
Yeah, and even yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
same thing for me. So I was kind of sad pins dropped, but but it's a different format, so it's exciting for that
Yeah.
reason.
I just wanted something a little different than a round robin once you
Correct,
get
yeah.
in there, because it's just, especially now you have the bonus pins involved. Just using, for example, the PBA format. I just wanted something different where just get in.
Just get in. Yes.
If you can just get in at
yes.
the cut ratio of 1-5, it's like a brand new tournament.
Exactly. It's just like the Masters or Queens.
Yep.
You
It's
know,
just
and
a fresh start.
Me personally, I think those are the hardest tournaments in the world, the Masters and Queens, because of
They
that
are.
reason. Because of your matches, it's a little different because it's 3 games total as opposed to best of. But the same situation.
It's exactly to case in point. And unfortunately, he was not able to be here this week. But the legend that is PDW, he never won the Masters. That was the one event.
Yeah.
And again, because of what you just said with the
It's hard.
format, he goes,
It's
and he
hard.
had some runs over time, but
Oh, yeah.
that's the only major he did not claim in his
Yeah,
illustrious career.
It's
So,
but then
but
you
then-
got this guy.
Well, but let's flip the script a little bit. You go to a guy, Brett Wolf. Brett showed up out of nowhere and won the
Won the
Masters that
Masters,
year.
I know.
And so it just further proves that point.
Exactly.
With that
It's
format.
anybody.
Yes.
It's anybody's game once you get in.
Right. And the reason, one of the thoughts I had was the reason I didn't want to do total pinfall, I think it's more exciting
Yes.
when, for example, right now, Andrew's down to Anthony, a decent amount of pins currently. There could be a time where you're a few frames, let's say you're shut out by the 8th, as an example, with anybody.
Yes.
You can actually give yourself an opportunity to go fishing,
Yeah.
to get ready to,
that's what I
for
did.
second game.
Yeah, you have to.
Right.
You
because
have to.
you're not losing wood
Nope.
going into game 2. And that's the strategic thing
Yes,
now.
you have, yeah, because you're all right, I lost this game, but I got 3 frames to throw balls I wouldn't even think about throwing.
Exactly. You can go hunting.
You can
and
go
I
hunting.
think that's one of those things that I wanted to have a little more intriguing for
Matt Jones catching
for
a
viewers
strike.
at home, but just for strategy for you bowlers that are participating in the event. So
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, it's a really good format, especially with the variety of players that we have. It's still anyone's game, and once you, like you said, get in, and that's kind of what we're thinking. You just get there. It doesn't matter how. It's just there. Just
Right.
get there.
So one thing to make a note, we mentioned it before. Riley actually washed out, or actually took that split down there. Adrian is clean through
Yes,
8, and she's got the pressure on him.
Yes. Yeah, she's putting him to work down there. We got some good matches going on in front of us. I was just amazed by Matt and Alec, how well they bowled this morning. When I heard the scores, I was like, did they have an extra game?
Right?
I
Again.
promise you, the center closed.
No,
there was no
but,
practice.
But I
There
mean,
was
kudos
no-
to them. They bowled
There
amazing
was
this
no
morning.
practice. There was no, hey, just to let you know, I bowled an extra game earlier.
Yeah,
I'm going to phone
yeah.
that one in.
Yeah, but I mean, they bowled amazing. When I
Matt
heard the
Jones converts the
scores, whew,
1-2-7. He's talking to himself, coming back off the approach.
looks like Bradley did spread that split down there. I think.
He did convert that,
Yeah.
and then he backs it up with a 7-pin.
Yeah,
Eileen,
Eileen, good shot there.
and again, we have to not forget that she does get 5 pins.
Yes, she gets 5 pins. There are a couple of seniors out here bowling that get
Yep.
some pins as well.
Yep.
Keith Domer.
Keith Dahmer.
Dahmer down here, right?
I believe those two might be the only.
Is Sirigliano out?
Yes.
Unfortunately,
Okay. Yeah,
yes.
he did get pins also.
Yep.
There was only, I want to say, less than 5 that made the top 24 that got pins.
Yeah, there was 5 that made the entire cut.
Yeah, but that made the top 20. There wasn't much.
Right.
Yeah.
And speaking of where that match took place earlier, down on 3 and 4, mentioned that Cortez had a kind of a pretty good start to that game, but now he's actually behind and just goes through the face 4-6-7 in the 9th. So that changes completely down there in the end pair.
Yes, and that that 3 and 4 I've heard has been kind of like, I finished on it yesterday, and I've also heard that it's been kind of tricky for some players too, who are coming down the stretch of a game. So
it's been good, it's been bad. It just depends on who you are and when you catch it.
When you hit it, yeah.
And speaking of good and bad, Kep right there catches the double, striking 9th to 10th. And down on 17 and 18, Adrian Hare did catch a double there,
yes,
too.
She did.
So things are good down there. And, things changed right here in front of us, a 9 and 10. Andrew Kane catching the turkey. So to stay in this match.
Yeah, I mean, the matches are interesting because you have some matches. 4.
There you go. By the way,
4.
Bree, we talked about this. I am the Galactic
Black
Eclipse. No, Galactic Eclipse, because I'm bigger than a cloud, bigger than a black cloud. We had to create something much larger.
Is that why you're not out there repping anymore?
No. That was.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
We won a lot of titles when I was out there.
I
and this is
know.
something
I'm just
that
giving
morphed
you a hard
into-
time. We're like,
I
okay,
somehow claimed it from Del Ballard.
Oh, okay.
The black cloud, and then and he traced it. Like you can't. Come on.
Field goal.
4-0.
You know how hard that
4-0.
is.
That's hard.
I mean, that's talent.
And to win and still win.
Yeah, but even himself, he surprised himself. He's like,
He threw it there
That
twice.
I traced
that was
it.
a different ball, right?
No, same ball.
It was this. I thought they were different.
Exotic gem, both shots.
I thought he threw the Zen on the second shot.
Was it? I thought it was the exotic. We'll see.
I mean, you can go.
We'll have to
If
ask
you can
Hope.
get 4, with 2 different balls,
Yep.
still that's pretty good.
And so Cortez, what does he got on there?
188. So it looks like his opponent
Chris-
needs to get 9
Chris
or
Mays.
8. I'm sorry, 8 and 2 balls.
Okay. We'll see how it shakes.
8 and 2 balls. Looks like Adrian struck out down there for 230, 220. Enough,
she got-
enough to win the game.
Oh, yeah. By a
Yeah,
lot.
that was a really good game.
Yep, by a lot. And Chris
And
Mays, Battle of
that's
Fame,
enough.
gets 9. Wow. And that is, again, it comes back to unforced errors.
I like it when bowling math is easier instead of harder.
It's funny, Hope just said that. She's like,
I'm terrible at
she's
bowling
like,
math.
I'm done bowling. She goes, I don't want to bowling math right now.
I'm so bad at bowling math. Especially when you got like
That's
a
a
turkey, and then
pretty
if you were to
good-
get like 4-3, you lost me.
Simo doing what Simo does, catching the count. And he will take the 1 up.
It'll take game 1.
Hopefully, Emil's keeping track of
He
the
is.
scoreboard over there. Is that what he's got corrected? Okay.
He's multitasking at the moment.
Okay. Matt Zweig. Decent shot there. Again, just the urethane thing maybe is not working. He's got to figure out a way to carry because his opponent
Is bowling really good, yeah.
not. And speaking of checking things, Simo jumped out to play up it.
Yeah.
So Simonson will take the 1-0 advantage here in the match on 9 and 10. And again, if we're from Alex's perspective, Kep, granted he bowled 240, but he went 4 and traced it. So we'll see if that leads to anything in this second match.
Yeah, and it could have, maybe he missed in the first ball in the 10th, but I swear he threw the Zen on the second shot. It's so easy to
And that,
split and leave
yeah,
weird
248-10.
things. Yeah.
Anyway, over here, like I said, keeping Robert Smith honest. So Robert is going to shoot 230.
Yes.
Eileen, she actually, even with the crazy split that she left, she converted it. She
But
shoots
she's
200.
clean.
Clean 200, collects her 5 pins, so she posts
Yep.
205.
Yeah.
Again, Robert Smith will take the advantage in that
Yes.
match.
But still, clean 200 is
Yep.
really good.
Absolutely. So down on 5 and 6, we have
And Tez
Josh.
Cortez started with another open.
Yeah, Josh actually shoots 257, so he takes the 1-up lead there. Yeah, and Tez, and again, what's happening there with Cortez and Chris May. Again, the battle of Thane down there on 3 and 4. And that turns into, Chris maybe trying to figure it out. That's a bucket. So, and so Matt, you can see the frustration with Matt Zweig, who was the leader from the Cashers round. He shoots 191, and his opponent only had 204. And so the frustration, knowing that he just needed a hit, and the Thane wasn't a thing. Well, it looks like another ball change here. We'll see what the plan of attack is on 7 and 8, and moves in reactive. That's pretty good. And Simo right here in front of us, 4, 6, 7, collects 2. But again, Simo being Simo.
Being Simo.
He was fishing around.
Yeah, I bowled next to him
at
today.
the end of that game anyway. So we'll see what he decides to come up with from a strategic plan.
Yeah, I bowled next to him today in the Cashers round. He had 68 in the 5th and struck out. So
yeah,
that's Simo things.
Like Belmo does Belmo things, Simo
does
does
Simo things.
And same thing, EJ does EJ
things. Yeah, it's but it's.
That's another ball change for Matt Jones, catching a spare strike.
Yes. Oh, bad break.
There we go.
There's been some good breaks and some really tough breaks going on.
Interesting leaves.
Okay, so game 2, we made the flip, and to my right was Robert Smith and Cortez Shank. They both left, not on the same lane, but on the pair, the 7-8.
Oh, Simon with a little footwork of the pros. They both left the 7-8.
They both left 7-8 and
Good
both
for them.
spared it like
And they
pros.
Both spared it like
That was the most. That was the common spare leave on that man.
I always say, don't leave anything you can't pick.
It's you never know when it's gonna pop up. Oh,
No way.
it doesn't. It denies it.
The messenger is denied with the
I
blocker.
think the pin in the was
the
it the
blocker.
Yeah.
The 6-pin blocker.
Oh.
6-pin laid in the deck in the head
All
out of the
that
lane,
work.
and it stopped the messenger from it. It nudged it, but not enough to knock it over. Wow, Cortez with a flush, and the 9-pin actually fell forward quickly. That was, it was a weird strike there as well. The 9, like I said, the 9-pin came flying up towards like the 6. So some crazy stuff talking about the pin carry and as it happens unraveling around us.
It does. I know. It's like, you talk about it and it just happens. And I feel like it's happening because, like the pattern's a little harder. There's some weird entry angles going on. But yeah, it's.
And speaking of unforced errors, Robert Smith chops that spare. So starts game 2 against Eileen with 6-3.
Behind, yes. No, it's only frame 1, but
Yeah.
Says with the, it's not the head pin, but
It is. No.
it's not. It's a 7 pin. Oh.
But the scoring is confused.
The scoring is confused.
The scorer said head pin.
Yeah.
The actual pin standings is
is
7.
7,
so
yeah.
it's the other side of it's the other front one.
Exactly.
All right.
Looks like we have scores coming in.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, it's not scores coming in. He wrote them down.
Matches so we can kind of update people.
Kind of a general idea so
Yeah.
we can keep. Oh, Andrew Kane, 8-1. Robert Smith misses the head pin. So yeah, things are
happening,
moving and shaking.
folks.
And so you got to think that, as we talked about with the number of games bowled today, again, not with the no re-oil.
No re-oil, no.
You thinking we got to be seeing another transition here.
Yeah, and they're not, from my understanding, they're not re-oiling until the stepladder finals.
I think they're going to re-oil for league next Wednesday.
Okay.
And Matt Jones catches the double there, down on 3 and 4. Chris Mays strikes.
Oh, good shot there by Simo.
9-pin.
Let me check scores, but what's his name?
Josh?
Yes, Josh. He shot 250 or 260 the last game of the Cashers round, so I don't know if he was already in before that or if that put him in.
It put him in.
Okay, yeah, and look at him.
So how about we talked about this earlier. So Josh and I actually had a conversation, helped him understand things a little better, and before the final qualifying round last night. So then he bowled the Desperado. Josh was the guy. Josh bowled 250 in the Desperado to sneak to the number 1 spot. So he's the Desperado guy.
That's what. See,
he's the number 1 Desperado.
Like that's what I was saying. Like you never know until like you just got to get in. Whether it's a Desperado, then it's like I said, bowling on the house money.
So,
they're just like smooth sailing. They're like, man, I shouldn't be here.
For the Desperado, 250 the last game to make it to the match play.
Yes.
Bowls 250 here in this match, and yeah,
and he's in round 2.
Doing what he does.
Yeah.
Simo.
Wasn't too sure about that one.
No, he's like, is it going to carry? Is it not going to carry?
Yeah. I mean, he just did 9 pins, so that one could have 9 pinned again.
That's what happens. But over here on 15 and 16, of course, I look at it and reference it, but we got over here in 15 and 16. They're both clean. Let's see, 15 16.
Kyle Abbas and Keith Domer.
And
Yes. And Keith does get 5 pins
he gets
a game.
5.
Yes. Keith so he's also from Tucson. Keith is
Or as
so
I learned
good.
around these parts, Tucson.
Tucson.
You're from Tucson,
I'm from
Arizona.
Tucson, Arizona.
And
He
they're like,
is
"Wait,
so
what?"
good.
And so I said earlier, and Hope goes, what? I go, yeah, Tucson. She goes, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Tucson. I know. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's sneaky good. He's got such a unique ball roll too that just.
But again, it's repeatability.
Yes.
And
Yes.
well, here it is.
Yep. He's
Stepping
really
up
good.
now on lane 16. He's got the front 3.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I asked him earlier, I'm like, how you doing? He's like, I'm missing a lot of spares, but I'm 50 over. I'm like, doesn't matter, then you're striking
Right.
on the hard stuff.
And Kep right here in front of us. And his match against Matt Jones catches the turkey after the 6-2, 9 spare start. It's turkey, so he's giving himself a fighting chance, if you will.
Yes. And we got Briley with spare turkey down on
Yep.
the very
And-
high end, and Adrian spare double.
Yep.
She just fist pumped that double.
3 spares and a double. Yep.
Yep.
So clean through 5.
Yes.
And Mr. Dahmer starting with the 4-bagger, and Matt Jones striking again.
Yes. It's a good ball change, apparently.
And speaking of ball change, let's go back to Matt Zweig over here on 7 and 8. He now starts with the front 4 as well. So lots of moving, shaking. Emil, hey, buddy. Back at it. My man's juggling cameras. He's like a camera ninja. Camera and cords ninja.
You see cameras move, they pop up, and then he's back in the booth. It's like, what happened?
Any elimination or any match play scenario, there's typically some moving and shaking that takes place during it. So, and I pre-planned for these moments. This is why you get here early. But I'm going to blame it on my congestion, because I inadvertently ran a cable the wrong way. And so I'm now doing double work, basically. So I've got a camera down there that's running on battery, which is great.
Yeah.
But at some point, I'm going to need to plug it in.
Okay. We'll figure it out.
So basically, we should be able to get through this round.
Yeah.
And then I'll be able to move that power cable, flip it real quick, plug it back in, and then we'll be all
It'll be great.
Okay.
It's all good.
It'll be fine.
And speaking of great, we were just talking about him. Dahmer actually has the front 5.
Let's check in on Keith Dahmer. Someone just asked about him in the chat.
Yep. And he's, again, that's a little bit of a battle down there on 15 and 16.
Yeah, we have Briley with an open on 17. He just went, I think, 8-1. Bounce back to
8-1,
strike.
10 back.
It looks like he's not throwing urethane anymore.
I was going to say, it looks like that
It
was
looked
a
like the Zen Master. He had the Zen Master and the Purple Hammer when I bowled him, but that one looked like the Zen Master. The Messenger. Those are so cool. Still striking.
Yeah.
I was saying, Adrian, here on the right corner of your screen, folks, she is bowling Briley.
Briley.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes. She just looks like 3-6-10.
Is she she and Eileen are now the two remaining.
The lone
Women in the
female
field.
Rangers trying to take down these boys.
There were, we did calculate, right? There were 3, including yourself,
Yes.
right? That made the top 24.
Mhm.
There were more, I think about 10 total, maybe 9 or 10 that competed.
Correct. Yes.
And Adrian does convert that down there, so she stays clean. Like Brianna mentioned,
Yes.
Riley actually did open 8-1 there in the 5th,
Yes.
strike up in the 6th.
And I think Riley's up by 2.
And he trips the 4. Front 7 for Dom.
On 7.
Dahmer over there on 15
Look
and
at him
16.
go.
I like
Talk
Keith Dahmer.
good about him. And
Sneaky
he's
good, man.
she says sneaky good.
Sneaky good. I bowl
Sneaky good.
Tucson City with him.
Okay.
Him and Dwight Burns were, my husband and I get the pleasure of getting schooled by the old guys when we bowl
Like,
City.
hey kid, hang with me. I'll teach you a thing or two. Isn't it funny how that works?
But it's a great time. Yeah, so good. I've seen Keith is there's some local tournaments in Tucson, and he's shot 290 multiple times the last game to get around everybody and make it and do.
Speaking of getting around it, Matt's wide.
Yeah, it's
Ball
crazy.
change,
And
shape change,
front
front 7
7.
as well.
Nice.
So like we said, it was frustration. It was a matter of is going to let that get to him because he was a little. You could crack an egg on his forehead there
Yes,
for
he
a
was
second.
very frustrated after that first game.
My man's answering the bell.
Yeah, but you got to shake it off.
That's it.
So-
And obviously he already had a vision or a view and was like,
Yeah, he
man,
saw something.
I'm doing this. And speaking of doing this, Matt Jones right there in front of us. This is definitely a pressure cooker as well. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
Alec went back-to-back 7-count spares, so we'll see if he's got enough to rebound. Bob Smith.
He's looking like he's. I don't know if he's lost it a little bit or.
I don't want
he's
to say it's lost it, but
he just-
obviously that pair started just because even Eileen's
started
got a
it.
little struggle too.
Yes, I didn't see what split she left, but he's definitely going through something down there. Simo looking to end this pretty quickly. See what's going on down there between Cortez and
Chris
pretty
Mays converts a spare there,
close.
so he's got 145 in the 7th, spare up in the 8th. And Tez has got 128 in the 6th, spare up in the 7th. So we'll see how that plays out.
So much going on.
I know, right? And that's what we were just seeing it like last night, especially like in Desperado.
Yeah.
And then even today with the cut number for through the caches round there.
Yeah.
So it turns into the chase, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't see the Desperado results till I got up this morning because I was asleep by then.
Yeah.
But then, the cashers round score, I didn't even look at scores till I got done. I've learned to not be a score watcher anymore. So
Robert crosses over for a strike. You're right. He's lost talking
Keith
to
is up
himself.
for the
Dahmer.
8th frame.
8. That it is.
And look at him.
So you know what that is right there? You know what your man Dahmer has over there?
What is it?
So that's a ham bone and then another ham bone.
So it's a double ham bone.
And Matt Zweig now
Double
also
ham
with
bone?
the ham bone combination. Or, like I mentioned earlier, Jeff Carter would be the one who'd be like, oh, he goes, what'd you have that game? So he'd be looking at it, he goes, well, I threw the front 4. Yeah. Then I doubled.
And then it doubled again.
No. Then I got the next one. Then I got the next one. Oh, so like front 8. Yep. And for the front 9. There it is. Bang.
Beautiful.
So things are.
Hold on, man. I'll be stealing my stuff. I'm
Ah.
just playing.
What, front 9 bang? I missed that one.
What's going on? All right,
Swag.
Swag up.
Does he like it?
Oh.
To the friction a touch
All
early.
right, all right.
You're stealing your stuff. I'm not stealing nothing, dude. We're trying to get you the
I'm just playing.
the catchphrases and the one-liners so you can build this merch store.
I'm just playing.
So down on 17-18, Riley has opened back-to-back frames
Uh-oh.
and given
Adrian
a nice
doubled.
lead here for Adrian.
Ooh.
So
Hey
things are
now.
getting spicy down there. Took the lead sitting on the bench. Gonna have a couple game 3s, it looks like.
And The dreaded unforced error by Matt goes 7-2. Goes him 235 in the ninth. And Eileen
With a double.
catches the double.
Adrian did get a strike in the ninth, so the best that Bradley can do looks like is 202.
Matt with a big 4 here in front of us. What does that do on the scoreboard? Again, trying to keep up with everything happening.
Yes.
Rapid fire. That's enough.
It's like, hey, can you not go yet? I haven't finished this pair over here.
Like, I'm old and slow.
What?
Can-
What? Can y'all wait?
And speaking of, Robert, 2 10s.
And one.
So I'll give you kind of a
252.
excuse me, a viewer synopsis. So Simonson's going to advance
Yep.
2-0.
Okay.
Keith Dahmer, as we've been following, has the front 9, and he was leading. In fact, he's going to win.
Yes.
Yep. So he is advanced.
So it's just a matter about honor scores for Keith. Cortez Schenk looks like he is going to even up his match with Chris Mays. That's on 3 and 4. And then on 5 and 6, Brian Halen. Yeah, that one's not decided yet. Halen could still win. It's a 2-pin game at
Very close.
the moment. Mr. Brian Wall on 7 and 8, bottom of your screen. Oh boy.
Simon finishes.
He's gonna make Matt Zweig show up in the 10th frame.
Absolutely is.
Gonna need a mark.
It's not guaranteed on this.
And then I can't see, but I think we said Adrian.
Yes.
Well,
So Bradley
Brian's
strikes out
actually
for
punched out.
202.
Yeah,
And Adrian has 124 in the 6th with the turkey.
Okay.
I mean, he just said whoever Keith is bowling just shot 236 in the loss. That's kind of heartbreaking
That
when they're
is
this
tough.
rough, when they're this tough. But yeah,
What event was that at the Tour Championship? Was it Tour Championship week where we had players losing with? Was that week?
Okay.
He just chopped that. So
Oh, boy.
6-3 in the ninth.
Okay.
Yeah. Players losing with high scores. Yeah, it happens.
So Adrian, oh no.
Is that one? Is that one? Or
Yeah.
Yes.
She
Let's
just
go-
got one.
Let's go Keith first.
I need
Keith.
Keith with the
Keith.
front 9.
roll
Tickled
it.
it.
Oh,
We're
8
gonna-
pin.
so okay. I don't bowling math. I don't math. So
Hold on, I got you.
help.
So it gives her 170.
It has the screen is showing that she has 187 right now.
Yeah, 170 because then she's got the strike and 1.
Right. So that's yes.
So does she like that one? No. Chops. It opens in the 10th.
But I don't know what it is. Bowling math is hard, guys.
It's not a dub.
No, 199.
No. 199.
You need to make it.
1-6 or 1-6.
Wow.
I was not seeing
Okay.
that happen. So that match is now tied up.
Yep. And in the meantime, down here on, well, Tez and Mays going they're going to game 3. They started there. They're on 5 and 6. Who's on 5 and 6?
That's Brian Halen.
Brian Halen
And Josh
opened in the 9th. So he puts up 196. So, yeah, Josh had the chance to close this one out.
Because Josh won
and-
the first, so he needs a double.
And so Matt,
or
speaking of closing
no,
that,
not
Matt does full and shoots 265. So that match here on 7 and 8 will go to game 3.
That's right, as well as the Tez
And
match.
speaking of game 3 is over here on 11 and 12. Keplinger and Jones are going to game 3 as well. Where's Josh Anthony?
Yeah.
That's 10 back.
Needs double and 8.
Double and 8 for those keeping score at home. Thank you. You're right. My brain's not mathing right now either.
It's okay.
Double and
Well, I'm here.
What was double and 8? What did I miss?
Josh Anthony.
Josh Anthony. So he gets the first one. So he needs this one at 8 to claim that match.
But wait a minute.
Double, what? Wait, what?
No, he shot 196, didn't he?
Yeah.
He shoots 199 if he spares.
Oh, you're right. Emil?
Oh, you're right.
I'm like-
I'm in the math category too then.
I'm
Yeah.
like, is Brian getting handicapped? I don't know about.
Math's hard, and there is 9.
I'm not usually the one to correct on the math, so
And that
it's fine.
is-
You guys
that's
have been here a
enough.
long time.
That's great.
That is enough. And by the way, the Tres Amigos, math is hard.
Between the three of us, somebody will figure it out.
Yeah.
man.
If not,
I would like, hey,
I'll phone a friend.
I would like to buy a vowel.
It's been a minute.
I can do that one. The 1-6, count me out.
So Josh Anthony's moving on. Robert Smith catches a turkey late in his game over here with Eileen. And I believe that's going to be enough, right?
Let's go over there real quick just to be sure. Left side of your screen. She can shoot 200.
Oh, no,
She
yeah.
gets 5
Yeah, so it'd be 205. So he needs all of them
to
tie
to set up a tie.
to set up a possible tie.
Oh, ooh, it's getting good. Oh,
And Kep
Ah.
goes high. So Matt Jones starts with the turkey. Kep high, leaves the split, leaves the 410. And Briley and Adrian, like we mentioned, had a commanding
yes.
first game. And now he starts with a double. She
Yes.
goes strike spare.
Robert likes it.
Robert
Oh.
Smith with a bird dog strike.
That was vintage
That was
Robert
that
Smith
was
right there.
Teach me.
Vintage Robert
You,
Smith.
you felt that? You felt some vintage
like
That was vintage Robert
Max,
Smith.
vintage,
yes, that-
vintage
yes,
Maximum Bob,
like-
huh?
You saw
Ridiculous.
that bird dog go up and down, hits the 10. He reacts. Vintage Robert Smith. Right
yeah. I mean, that was. I aspire for that kind of pin action.
Me
so
too.
After the Robert Smith shot, I'm going to update our round 2 situation
Okay.
across the board.
Perfect.
Robert Smith, a strike to potentially tie or to set up a tie possibility.
Oh, Brooklyn, he's asking for. And Brooklyn, he shall
Wow.
get.
Okay.
So she needs all 3, correct?
Yep.
Is it with her handicap?
Yes, Eileen needs all 3 in the 10th.
And by the way, not to interrupt you guys, but did y'all see that sportsmanship right there?
I missed it.
Eileen sticks her hand out
Yeah.
to ask Rob, even though he crossed over,
Yeah.
and Robert gave her 5. Robert
It-
doesn't know her from Adam,
No.
and it's one of those things that she's
It-
like, hey,
It's bowling.
it's bowling.
It's
You know,
bowling.
and that's what we love about this
Yeah.
environment
It's
that
bowling.
Carl's created. And that's pretty good.
Yeah. It's bowling. I mean, I had my fair share of Brooklyn today. And so were some other
She
people.
Gets 9.
Yeah.
So Robert Smith will survive.
And yeah. I mean, but great
That
bowling
didn't sound
by
like much by
Eileen.
Adrian down there. That was
7.
through the face for 7 count.
Yeah, but
Okay.
great bowling by Eileen.
All right, now we're going to throw it to Emil because he's got the update.
Perfect.
All right, so now that Eileen and Robert Smith are complete, first let's get you back over to 9 through 12, bottom of your screen, 7 and 8. So on 7 and 8, speaking of that, Matt Zweig and Brian Wall tied at 1 game apiece. Excuse me. Then on 5 and 6, Josh Anthony has defeated Brian Halen to advance 2 games to 0. On 11 and 12, Alec Kepninger and Matt Jones are tied at 1 game apiece. Matt Jones now with the front 4-6
And
split.
6.
Adrian Hare and Briley Hall are tied at 1 game apiece there in the if necessary. And of course, let's see, Robert Smith, Eileen, 2-0 in favor of Robert. Keith Dahmer defeated Kyle Abbas 2 games to 0. And Anthony Simonson defeated Andrew Kane 2 games to 0. When we get to round 3,
Oh, maybe. Oh, good.
Okay.
when we get to round 3, from my knowledge, we will still have higher seeds. The highest seed will face the lowest remaining seed still.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
And just an update, Adrian did chop 3-6-10 and then spared in the 4th. So Briley is still ahead in that match through 3.
Okay. And you're right, he has gone to reactive, so obviously had to bail off the Thane. And Matt Zweig. We got
He
starts
found
with the
something.
front 4, Ryan Waugh. Also with the
Good
front
shot
3.
there.
And Chris Mays seems to figure something else on there because he goes strike, spare, 3-bagger. Cortez Shank goes spare, strike, split, strike. So Cortez is down, and obviously the frustration is flaring up for
Yes.
that young man.
Yes.
And yeah, just a lot of moving and shaking going on here, folks.
And
And of course, the Galactic Eclipse, known as Roto Schlem,
has struck again.
has struck again.
Well, not struck. He's 7 counted again.
Blanketed again.
Tez with a double. Briley down there with another double. So, you know,
Double,
he's
spare, double.
just get there.
Cap with a good pitch right there. And, and I think you said he's Collegiate Player of the Year?
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Okay.
Collegiate Player of the Year, first team All-American multiple times.
Gotcha.
Those are
Team
well.
USA,
Very
Team
good.
USA.
Those are well.
Safe to say today is not his first day bowling.
No. No.
Here's a
Maybe
did
second.
you know for Chris Schlimmer.
Yeah, because I'm learning. I mean, same thing a couple weeks ago when we were in Iowa. We met the kids, and you obviously,
Yeah.
I don't get out as much to these types of events or even the youth events. And I was, my man Emil was learning me, and now he's going to learn me right now. With
So-
a little hot take.
Did you know that
Nope.
Alec Keplinger has his mother is a PWBA champion?
Yes, I did know that. I've seen her bowl on vintage shows.
And since you worked on that tour,
Yeah.
I'll give you a guess as to who that could be. I know it's putting you on the spot, but
Well, yeah, I guess I don't know her maiden
I'll
name.
give you. Well, if I tell you that, then
Well, that's
I would,
fine.
I would
Do
give it away.
Would it have been when I was out there in the late 90s?
Yes. So I can't tell you her maiden name.
Really?
Yes, because that's the name most people know her as.
I learned this like 3 weeks ago, I want to say.
Okay. So I'm
What about? I'll give you the state that they're from.
I know what state I'm from. Confusion.
They're from Michigan.
State of confusion.
Michigan. Hello, Brooklyn Rob, by the way. From Michigan. If that helps at all.
That's a pretty good pitch by Madzweg. He now has the front 5. Now Adrian changes balls down there on 15 or 17 and 18. Does she strike? No, 4-pin.
I'll give you the city too. It's from Coldwater.
That's not helping me in
Okay.
any capacity.
She won the Queens in '97.
So that was right before I got out there.
Okay.
Because I was out there at the end of '98.
Feel free, anyone else in the chat who may want to chime in with their guess too.
98 and then
Alec Keplinger's mother is a PWBA champion. In fact, she is now a USBC Hall of Famer. Inducted in 2021.
That is the front 6. 2021.
9-time PWBA champion. Won a major at the Queens.
The Sandra Joe?
Yes, it is.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
So I don't even remember me. Oh my gosh. I want to say he was there actually at the Hall of Fame induction. Because it actually
was there.
happened the same time with when
Correct.
Bill and Barr went.
Absolutely.
Wow, okay. Man, I
all
am
coming together.
so bad at putting stuff together.
No, I mean, that's tough.
When you said Michigan, I kept thinking of that,
Yeah.
the first name that popped in my head. And I'm like, and yeah, so when I went out there in '98, so Sandra Joe was already the end. Or I should say the end, but she didn't bowl much by that point in time. There was a lot of girls transitioning into whatever was going on at that point in time. You know, the tour was still going pretty strong because it didn't come to an end until the early 2000s. But you know, I worked on the truck, but end of '98, '99, 2000, I worked for a different company. I worked for Visionary, and then 2001 is when I hired Storm. So wow, okay, see, small world. Matt Jones converts a 7 spare, so we'll see how it shakes out. And Cortez, 4-bagger, 7 count.
Yeah, he did switch to
He's
reactive.
talking in his shirt.
Yes, yes. And then down on the very last pair, Briley is kind of taking control of that match.
I think Adrian, I mean, the one, and I don't know what
I
happened.
don't know
there,
what
if it
happened.
missed.
By the
Obviously
time
missed
we
enough.
looked over, because we were watching Keith's bowl, the ball was already going down the lane.
And yeah,
Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
she's playing out.
Yeah, she's been further right the majority of the time.
Bang, front 7.
7.
He's liking it. And did
Spare
Cortez
for
convert that?
Cortez.
Yep.
Yeah. Is it 137 in the 6th? Is that?
Well, looks like it. We'll spare up on the 7th,
Yes.
and then 155 in the 7th, spare up on the 8th.
Close match
And
still down there.
Adrian chopped that.
Yeah.
So that one is now over.
Oh, that was a
Chris
good
Mahan,
shot.
That was a pretty good pitch. Speaking of good pitch, that,
That
was
was
pretty
good.
solid.
If you would have saw Hope's reaction, you would have said it wasn't a good pitch. She thought it was going a little too far right.
No. Well, it shows you what she knows.
She was like, "Oh."
That'll teach her.
Is that
That's
rev rate?
rig.
And that's.
Boom. That is the
Hey,
front
that's a
8.
ham bone.
Double ham bone.
And another
bone
ham
and a
bone.
ham bone. Or turkey with a, then I got the next one, and then a turkey again, and then got the next one.
Yeah. That's how you explain you had, like, front 8 or 9 in, like, the longest way possible.
Absolutely. So how'd I get? Well, I started with a double. Yeah. Then I got the next one.
Yeah, the next one. Doubled again.
Then I doubled again. And
Happened
then,
to get another
then
one.
I caught a turkey. Wait, what? What's going on right now?
Oh.
Trip 4.
Trip 4.
Riley splits down there, but I think it's he's got enough because he got that 4-bagger, so he's got one. What is that?
184 in the 8th, and the
I don't
best
know if-
Adrian can shoot
Yep.
is 191. Oh,
All right. So 243 is the max here. The best Matt Jones can do is 241. So spare
But
and
a lot has to happen to get
9.
to that.
Right? We've all agreed that our collectively our
Collect-
math has been a little bit off.
So
Spare and 9.
how's
correct?
your bowling math? Well, it takes 3 of us to look at the scoreboard and go, yeah. So if he gets a
we're in
spare
the
nine.
last day. We're
Spare
getting down
nine.
to the nitty gritty. Oh,
and
oh,
Messenger delays in front of this 10.
too lazy, yeah. And right in front of it.
All right. So
Got-
Tez is
all
now
right.
trailing.
Cat runs
Did
it
the
down.
first task.
Tez is now
Task.
trailing
Yep.
by that non-strike in the 9th.
Yes.
He can max at 224 if he makes the spare, and it would be a double 9 situation for Chris Mays in the 10th if Tez makes the spare
And strikes out.
and strikes out.
Okay. And Zwig up in the. Oh.
Gave
Man.
it a run.
Come
and,
on. Come on, Pins. Let us see some excitement. There hasn't been a 300, has there?
No.
Nope.
Oh.
9 to win for Keplinger, and he will advance.
And
That's
9
enough.
it is.
Wow, good match.
Yeah, very good match.
Solid match.
Yeah.
All right, let's take you
Good
over to
shot
7 and
there.
8.
Manswick runs down that spare, so he too will advance. And so now the focus is down on 3 and 4. Cortez through the
Oh, through the
face.
face again. Is that another 3-6-10? Yes, it is.
So that puts him in the 211, or at 211 if he
Yeah.
makes the spare strike, which obviously then makes it a little easier for Chris Mays, but he still would have to mark. And that's going to do it officially for Matt Zweig.
Yes. It's pretty good ball change and adjustment there to
Oh, absolutely.
definitely. I mean, he saw it, like, went with it, saw something, and it definitely paid off there.
Cortez does convert the spare down there. So he's going to need to strike and hope.
Yeah, fill it and
Not
pray.
this hope that's sitting over here next to
Not-
us, but he needs to
Gotta hope for something.
hope for something over there. And Briley actually catches a double, so yes, he has advanced.
Yes, he did.
Emil is giving us, I think, a little pan action. And that sounded like 10 or below or 10. He got 10.
10. So,
he
that's
puts
211.
211 on the board. So he's going to force Chris Mays to show up in some capacity here in the 10th.
Mark and pins.
Yep.
Strike will do it.
He's not as easily said
No.
and done.
We've seen other things happen.
Any kind of mark here.
Yeah.
Oh. Through the face. Greek
What
church.
what is happening? He has to make
And
it.
he's got to make it.
He has to make it.
And now we can say it has been made this week. Greg
That's
Thompson
true.
Jr. made the Greek church.
Did he?
He did.
Yes, over here on
He
was it
throws it
15,
hard
16,
enough. Did
or
he bounce
17,
him out?
18?
Might have been this morning.
Yeah, you're right. I think
It
it
was
was this
in
morning,
cash
actually.
Did he bounce them all around? Because I mean, he throws it
No,
hard.
it was the deal of, I think it was the
Kinda.
typical
He got an
slid it
A
over
bounce.
and
Okay, a bounce, but
yeah,
not
slid
like
it over and
But it wasn't like what
like
you would
he-
think from
like
GT.
he's chucking
'cause,
it. Yeah, because
yeah. It was a-
he can get it down there.
by the way, I wish we had a camera in the booth to show that the swing of
the swing of Emil.
So again, like exactly what we said, anything's possible.
Real
So-
quick, how would you shoot this?
Would
you go
if I have to
4-7
make
at it?
if I have to make
Would
it,
you
I'm
go
going
count?
for the 4-9.
Okay. That's what
'Cause
I meant.
I-
Shooting at the 4-7 is what I meant to say.
Yeah, I would shoot the 4-7. Yeah. If pins don't matter and I have to make it, I'm going at it the other way.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was that? You just have to show up. Exactly what I said, and you're like, oh yeah, yeah,
Half.
blah, blah, blah.
It's hard. I mean, they're especially on this pattern. You know, you can still execute. I mean, he could have thrown a good shot. He could have 4-9. He could have said 10. Just between that match, Adrian's match,
Yeah,
that was an interesting round,
to say the
to
least.
say the least.
All right, folks. So round 2 is officially over. It's going to take a few minutes to get the bracket updated, et cetera, and so forth. So give me a chance to rerun a cable.
Okay.
You guys are more than welcome to remain on there, but you can certainly take a break if you'd like.
All right.
Okay.
All right. I'm good with that.
Okay, let's take a little break. Folks, don't go anywhere. We'll have some audio on. This mic will be on, FYI.
Hence the reason why it's got a red foamy thing on the top.
FYI.
A
it's
red
hot.
foamy thing. Hot
It's
mic. Hot mic.
Round 3 is next. Give it just a couple minutes, and we'll be back with you right here on Bullstream TV.
It wouldn't have 4 twice. 5 and 6 will be the 1 seed Max Reed versus 16 seed Bradley Huff. On 7 and 8 will be the 2 seed Hope Gramley and your 15 seed Josh Anthony. On 11 and 12 will be the 7 seed Anthony Simonson and your 8 seed Robert Smith. And on 13 and 14 will be your 5 seed Cortez Shank and your 13 seed Keith Dahmer. Give you all just a minute to get your stuff moved. All right, bowlers, please hold the button marks. Once again, your higher seed will get game choice. Good luck.
One more.
Okay, everybody, Roto Schlim back with you. Pardon the TV time out there. Emil's going to do some camera movement stuff as we're down to the top 8 here at the inaugural Agent Ong Open. Let's see. Let's get things dialed in here. We've got the 2 cameras working currently here on the high end right in front of you. On your screen, you got 11 and 12. We have the number 7 seed Anthony Simonson versus the number 8 seed Robert Smith. On 13 and 14 there, we have the number 5 seed Cortez Schenk taking on the number 13 seed Keith Dahmer. And please note in that, because Dahmer is the senior category, he does get 5 pins a game. So that gets added and that goes all the way through. And then over here on 5 and 6, we have our number 1 seed Matt Zweig taking on the number 16 seed Briley Howe. And on 7 and 8, we have the number 2 seed Alec Keppinger and taking on the number 15 seed Josh Anthony. And again, these seeds are from the Cashers round this morning. And how it was going each round, the highest seed bowls the lowest remaining seed. So that is how we ended up with Mr. Zweig, number 1 seed, taking on Briley, the number 16 seed. And like I said, 7 and 8, so we have the number 2 seed versus 15. Those are the remainings. And then, like I said, over here in 13 and 14, number 5 versus number 13. And right in front of us, we have number 7 versus number 8. And now that we've got the clerical duties out of the way, and speaking of 3, 6, 9, 10, Anthony Simonson chops it. So he goes strike 6-3, gets 28 in the 6th, or in the 2nd. Robert Smith starts the game with a double. So over here on 13 and 14, we've got Mr. Keith Dahmer. He left the 1, 2, 8. So it'll be strike 7. We'll see what this does here. Strike 7. Oh, off the wall. So strike 7 spare. The not exactly textbook way to convert the 1, 2, 2, 8, but does. And ultimately we have a tie match there on 13 and 14. Over here to our left, the Zweig Homat. We've got, let's see who's up on the left lane. Briley's up on the left lane, so he's got spare strike. And Matt Zweig has started that game with a double. And here in front of us, to the left, Josh Anthony strike spare, and Alec Epelinger has started his match with this game with a double. And Roberts Greek Church goes 5-2, so that changes things a little bit. So Simo with the well, I can't even say unforced error because the 3-6-9-10, like I told you folks earlier, was the hardest spare on tour for nearly a decade. Probably still is. And now, and Simo chopped it, and then Robert Greek Church, and only got 2. So I will do my best to facilitate and fill airwaves, as like I said, Emil has been bouncing back and forth, working on some camera angles and doing some fun stuff. Robert pointing. He pointed left, thinking he was going left, and went high flush. So that adds the confusion. He doesn't know. I'm going to guess he doesn't quite know what's going on in that pair, because he thought, like I said, off his hand he was pointing. So over here on 5 and 6 on your screen, Mr. Zwag. Looks to be the same reactive ball he went to. Messenger in front of the 10. Pretty good pitch. You'll see on the right side of your screen there, over there on 7 and 8. Alec Epelinger. Does he like it? He likes it. Pretty good. Oh, Cortez Shank over here off the other pair. And like I said, folks, bear with us as we've got some different camera angles Emil's working on here for 11 through 14. And Matt does convert the spare. And Simo, after that chop, 3-6-9-10, now throws up a turkey. And over here on 13 and 14, everyone is on 13 and 14. Everyone, oof, I was going to say everyone was clean, but Mr. Dahmer goes 2-4-8-10. So not to say you can't pick it. We'll see. And here, as you just saw, Alec Epelinger with the front 4. So strikes aplenty for some, and again, moving pair to pair, and we are now a few more games in. As we mentioned previously, in round 2, we had some matches go all 3 games. Matt with the messenger. Ooh. So Epelinger goes 6-3 off of that 2-4-8-10, so he opens in the 4th, thus putting him down in this early on in the game with Cortez Shank. And as we watch Robert Smith, the ball distance, far right corner of your screen, that was Robert's 10 pin, and Briley goes 7. So again, I'm not quite sure. There's got to be some strategy behind it. Over here on 5 and 6, there is a sandblasted phase 2. And I forgot who was down there sanding it, but it looks like a snowball. So I don't know if that is a strategy. We've got Captain Carl back in the booth with us right now. I don't know if that's a strategic placement. Like I said, this, you can see that over here on the low end, the phase 2, that looks like a snowball on the back table. You see that over there?
Oh.
So I don't know if that was
I did
by
not
design.
see the snow globe.
Yeah, snow globe, if you will. Josh Anthony. Oh, pretty good pitch. Leaves the 10. And again, looks like Josh is going to have his hands full with Alec, who has the front 4. Captain Carl, what do you think here, my man?
We are dwindling down.
Well, that's obvious, but we've had some interesting. Cortez, we thought it was all over with the crying, and then Chris May steps up. It's kind of needed to count and move on, and he goes Greek Church.
Yeah. There was
unforced error.
Quite a few things that happened that was absolutely shocking.
Where's my check at? She just comes up handing out check. Carl gets to sign them. Oh, okay. Yeah, I like how that goes. Yeah, there's more check. There's more checks in that checkbook. How'd that work? Now, yeah, so it's been kind of crazy wild, and that was a great pitch by Simo. He's talking about ball motion and pin motion. That's a whack. He's got the foot on the gas over here on 5 and 6. And that's pretty good. Kepler with the front 5.
I mean, just going back to the last round,
Yeah.
an unfortunate mishap with Adrian Hare as well.
Does anybody know what happened? Like, she was playing out, but
I didn't.
did she hit her
see
ankle
it.
or something, or
No,
she just
I
one of those
didn't
things missed
see
it and got one off the right?
Like, I don't know the whole scenario. I need to get with her. Obviously, I'm giving her space at this time. To
Oh,
kinda,
for sure. Yeah, she
do
just
her
kind of
thing.
needed count
Yeah,
kind
but
of thing.
From what I understand, somehow, I don't know if she hit the skid or whatever, but she picked the corner off.
That's what I said. She got one off the right. She
And
took the
I
cement
think
off the full rack.
From what I understand, I think she
With
just
the
needed
strike.
count.
What's that?
I think she just needed count. on
Yes,
the ball
that is
one.
correct. Yep, that is correct. We could see that far. We just didn't know what happened because we were lots of stuff gets happening fast at the same time, and we just glanced over. And speaking of glancing over, Briley over here 2.810. Alec Kepler off the front 5 2.4810. I think we're starting to see maybe another transition. Because Dahmer actually 2.4810 and then almost left it again. And Robert Smith is he's gone through the nose and crossed over, I think, 3 times already this game. So you can tell by the look of Robert is lost as he's talking to himself. He's been able to parlay. He's got 2 Brooklyns this game and a nosedive for a strike as well. So we'll see how that shakes out. And Simon's going to step up there on your screen. And we got a little picture-in-picture action down in the lower right-hand corner. Josh Anthony, oh, he seems frustrated. I don't know, maybe it could be just kind of wore out. As we were talking in the previous round, my man's been the sneaky guy. He through the Desperado, he had the big game in the second game to be the #1 guy. Then again this afternoon in early in the cashers round, he shot 250 to jump into the number, and now here he is in the top 8. And now here he is in game 1, down by, what do we got here? That's 361. Simo catches a double. And speaking of motion down there, Briley, as you saw there in the lower box on your lower right-hand corner, Briley Hell went 2.810 and then goes 6 spare. Matt Zweig's got a pretty good look. And Josh actually catches a strike there. Hopefully that'll maybe get him back on the up and up. Maximum Bob topples a 5-7. And like I said, in this match, he's and I say that, Carl, I don't know if you saw the one where off his hand Robert instantly pointed left because he thought it was going Brooklyn and went flush.
Yeah, they pushed all the way.
I think he came back with his hands in there going, I don't know what my ball is doing right now. Of course, that's
Seems
Robert.
Like that's happened.
That seems like it's Robert
randomly
on the
throughout.
daily.
Yeah.
We've known Bob a long time.
Yeah, he's always talking to himself. He hears voices.
Yeah, like Randy Orton.
Yep.
Voices in
There
his
should be
head.
a theme song coming out.
Yep.
And then he does something like
And
that.
then he does something like that.
Just
So-
hears it. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it does work when he talks to
I
himself.
don't know. No, Brianna was talking, she talks to herself, and even Hope was talking. She calls her when she's doing stuff, she says unforced error. She talks to Hopi. She goes, I go, yeah, Hope. She goes, yep. She goes, so Hope and Hopi have plenty of conversations when we're bowling. So that's a bowler thing, folks. We know that. Strange breed of creature. And Kep with the double, so he's locked up game 1 here on 7 and 8. And Maximum Bob
With a 5-bagger.
I didn't look at the scoreboard before it blinked away. What do we got here? He cannot shut Simo out. So we'll see how this plays out. Yeah, got a doozy over here on 5 of 6. On Bradley. Oh, there. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey now.
That just moved.
That was the snow globe making appearance. So you have to wonder, confusion turns into defense or offense. So Matt Zweig's going to take the one-up advantage there.
And Robert just ended with a 6-bagger for 238.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is he did cross over twice and went through the nose.
Oh, yeah.
So there was 3 shots in that. Again, not making it comfortable. And Cortez here, who basically has a second life. Based on, like we were just talking about, his match previously against Chris Mays. And, yeah, must be pretty good right there. Catches a double late. Oop, sorry about that. And Cortez using urethane, but he also just grabbed another ball to put up on the rack. So, again, he's looking to see something. Well, he's got virtual energy blackout. So he's got feign, but he's also got reactive. Simo with a double toe tap. Not mad about it. That was pretty good there, too. So obviously it's one of those things that Cortez on that pair was seeing something. You know, starting with feign, he's going to take the one-up lead over here on 13 and 14. And Anthony Simonson takes the one-up lead on Robert Smith. And kept with the unforced error, but again, that one's, we're going into game 2 right over there. I did not see. So Matt has made a ball change. And, well, it catches a double. So, again, well, another ball option there for Cortez Schenk. Rolls the 2. Like we mentioned, whether it's defense or trying to create something different, Robert Smith doesn't waste any time jumping here into game 2. But Bradley with the snow globe phase 2.
It's not on the table anymore.
You know, he threw it. He actually threw it on lane 6. And I don't know if it's trying to build a spot to throw at. Because, again, Matt wasn't even playing out that way. So it could be any number of kind of strategy things. Who knows? We'll see how how that pair transitions now.
I'm assuming that ball instantly checked up.
Well, I mean, it got past the dots. Yes, it did dig in and make a move, and yeah, that's Zweig with 258. Cap with 1, so he goes, sneaks out, 220 game, and again, you get to the spots like we talked about. You maybe do a little changing balls. Simo looking for a little dust underneath the ball return. I'm not quite sure what Bradley's doing over there. That was the sandblasted ball, and obviously he's now throwing at 3 shots on that right lane. And that is a 1-5-10, so I don't know if it's trying to give himself a hook spot to jump in and bounce off of. But I think it's a touch and feel thing as we're watching, you know, like Simo and Robert Smith here.
Because Matt's left of him, right?
Yes. Okay, so hey, to each their own. That's why it's bowling. Josh converts the spare there. And, yeah, that's a wise move, I think. Go to the bag and look for something a little different.
Robert got a strike there.
So he knows he's got his hands full.
Without a doubt.
Cortez. With, there he is. What it is, yo?
Hey,
What's
man.
up?
We're almost there.
That's it. That's what's up.
It's like Rocky.
Most
Most people don't like Rocky 5, but I enjoy it.
Rocky 72, what? I think that's where we're
Yeah,
at, right?
exactly, yeah.
I'm waiting for that one to come out. Stallone keeps coming out with all these other movies that, you know, he's been around for
Excuse me, when he
100
fights,
years.
When he fights Tommy Gunn, he
Oh, I
goes,
remember.
one more round. One more round. That's where we are.
Step outside.
One more round.
All right. And ooh. Is that a, ooh, yeah, that's a 1, is it 1, 2, 1, 2, 8.
Uh-oh.
So, like we mentioned, folks, Briley had actually used that sanded phase 2, threw some shots to the right to create a hook spot. Now he seemingly changed balls to use that said hook spot, and what do you know? It hooked through the nose. So, I don't know what kind of strategy that is.
Well, I'm going to try to make sense of it, but I need a little bit of a catch-up. I missed essentially that match.
Ketchup
so
and mustard?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to let Roto Schlem fill you in on that.
Okay.
So, I mean, obviously, Matt Zweig has had a great look. Obviously, finishing this last match.
Yes.
Same thing on that pair. And so, when on the break, I ran to the restroom, and I happened to hear the sandblast going, and there's a phase 2 that's got probably 180 grit on it. Like, it was white, as we were calling it a snow globe from afar, snowball, snow globe. And, you know, Briley chose to use that on that right lane a couple shots, and that's why he left that 1-5-10 and didn't miss it. But he had used it a couple more shots on that right lane, so maybe it's just something funky on the right lane because I don't recall it ever touching the left lane. But again, it's right of where Matt was playing. Matt did make a ball change, but he still shot 250, so it didn't really seem to affect him in any way. But then Briley did switch balls on that right lane, and then it checked up. And he left a 3-6-10. So, again, I don't know if there was just a weird spot he saw on that right lane or something, or trying to get in ahead of Matt. I don't know. And here, they're on 7 and 8. Josh, struggled through, but he did make a ball change there late. And again, he's going to try and keep his wits about him. Bowling Alec Kepner there. And over here to our right, Cortez Schenk is now changed balls a couple times there late, just kind of fishing around, but now he's got the front 3. Yeah, see Matt. Oh, pretty good pitch. Throwing some wood.
Not that late carry. So I'm going to say that's a bold move, Cotton. From
we missed that.
We did.
A couple
and I
weeks
wasn't
ago.
going to miss it
Not
again.
missing it this time. All right, I like it.
And from Briley. And maybe it's some gamesmanship. Maybe he said, all right, maybe I can give a few shots to play some level of small defense, perhaps. If Matt is going to continue to throw urethane, which why wouldn't he at this point?
Right.
So maybe, and Matt might not be throwing urethane for that matter.
No,
too.
he's not. He's actually switched reactive that last set.
So, okay.
And he's in curving it. And so that's about where he's been playing. And so he's still got a pretty good look. And he did change ball. He did try a different ball late and out of the game. But, yeah, he went to reactive over here on his previous match.
And or maybe Briley said, hey, my best chance at beating Matt based on his look is to give myself the best
But like
look.
I said, it must have been trying to open up a spot that he was seeing as hang because, like I said, that sandblasted ball only saw the right lane. And Briley's actually got away from urethane. He's in a reactive ball, which he did down here.
Here we go.
And it's kind of been his back and forth.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, reactive ball up it. And now it stands, stops, and that's a bucket. So, yeah, we'll see. Maybe we catch up with him afterwards and get his strategery answer.
All right.
I think it was tough because I didn't know the scores, so I don't know if when he went there, if he thought he was out of wood. And
Oh,
just
he was completely out of the wood.
Okay, I just didn't know what the
Matt was
score
pacing
was.
250 and he shot 250.
Oh, got it. Okay. So I guess, yeah, I don't know. Defense, maybe?
No. It's not defense. It was trying to create a better spot on the right lane. So he saw something that he was struggling with. So
He only did it on one lane?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Then. Absolutely.
The Cortez shank here with the front four. Oh, Simon.
Look out.
Yeah, and that happens every once in a while.
The old vet move that you were talking about earlier, using going underneath the ball return, getting a little dust to help improve his slide. That's a vet move right there.
That is an old school move, and he's not an old vet, but we were talking about.
He's a young vet.
He's 26, but he goes, man, he's already been on tour. How many years now? He's got 8 years,
like
9 years, 8 or 9 years.
He's
already
26.
Yep.
He won his first major at 19.
Yes. So it's a deal of, but anyway, folks, for those who don't know, if you're having some issues with your shoe or a little sticky deal, the veteran move that we're referring to is to slide your slide shoe underneath the rack by the ball return, because there's usually dust underneath there, and the little dirty dust will actually help your shoe slide a little bit more. So that's what Simon was doing, and obviously it paid off. As we see Robert convert to fair, looking in the air, looking to phone a friend or reach a lifeline. Riley converts the spare down there. Clean. He's now clean through 4, which is a vast improvement over game 1, but Matt also hasn't missed yet through 3. So Matt is not letting up on the gas pedal, if you will.
He should not be.
Nope.
I mean, at the moment, too. And the other thing is, let's look at these seeds real quick. Now, he's the #1 seed.
Yep.
And so if he wins his match, he's guaranteed runner-up. When we're talking about cash, obviously he's got to win 1 game. The seeding was based on their finish at the cashers round.
That's correct.
And so, obviously, huge opportunity for Matt. And Kep is the 2nd seed. We got a 1-2-5-7 situation from a seeding perspective. So,
and Zweig down with the front 4. Again, we got a little picture-in-picture action. Kep, pretty good pitch right there. Simon, pretty good pitch. Messenger in front of the 9.
It's funny watching Kep now. It's maybe it was yesterday. I can't. The days are running together, but he came down. And he's like, "Man, what have you been seeing?" He was just kind of talking, and he was trying to figure out his game plan. Because he was his only bowling at that point maybe was the sweeper. I think I can't recall, but when we were talking about the urethane use and how squads 4 and 5 at the time.
Messenger in front of the 10 over there. Yeah, it was. Oof. Yes.
Had made urethane look great. And he threw a lot of urethane yesterday.
Cortez. Sorry.
I don't know what he did yesterday.
Oh, little tickle. Spare 4-bagger. Cortez shank with the,
I'm looking at you.
He got a turkey, and then he got the next one, and then he just doubled. Also known as a 6-pack. And the cloud continues. Little tickle of the 10. The shriek ends at 6, but he's now got a commanding lead on in that match.
I'm going to go full screen here on Briley, and so the viewers can see too, because this is a big shot. Same wiggle, exact same spot. And that's that hang spot I had to be referencing on that lane.
Yeah. Or, again, it was, like I said, he built a hook spot to kind of throw out, but he's kind of good at the tumbling. And I'd like to say a little wiggle, 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 yeah.
You know what's wild when you think about it, specifically for Briley, and a couple people caught the hook spot on lane 10 that we talked about yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But he catches a hook spot as Robert Smith. Oh, slap it out.
Mm-hmm.
Hook spot on 10 that he had to deal with, go around, etc. And now he's got a hang spot on 6, both right lanes. Obviously, this situation way more important than the squad, because now it's I got to win to stay alive and get a chance to advance to the step ladder.
Right.
Now, meanwhile, my man Josh Anthony here is he's just been cruising. And,
I think my man ran out of gas.
You know, it may be, but he applied the knowledge that he learned.
Oh, absolutely.
And put it to work.
It worked. I mean, been making it work, and that's what I was telling Carl, catching him up to speed on it, and the fact of, he was the sneaky guy with the 250 in the Desperado. He was the sneaky guy with the 250 this morning in the catcher's round to sneak into the cut number, and now here he is in the top 8. So he definitely parlayed it, if you will. And Cortez,
He was the last entrant into the Desperado.
He was?
He waited and waited and waited, him and Han, and then he decided in the last minute when we made last call, he went up and signed up.
Gotcha. Top 8.
Shot. As you see, Hall at the bottom of the screen missed the 2-7.
Mm-hmm.
And he needs a lot of help from Matt. Obviously, he's not going to expect to get help.
Correct.
And so
Kep with a pretty good pitch there.
That's where it is.
Good.
Kep is cruising. We're inching toward a Zweig, Keplinger, and now Simonson.
Simonson has moved on.
And now possibly Cortez Shank.
I mean, he's doing a little doctoring on a thumb hole.
That he is.
So it must be something feeling or not feeling. Matt Zweig, pretty good pitch. Stuff 9.
How about Robert Smith? Been fun to watch him this
Hula Bob. Surfer Bob. Kep with a pretty good pitch there. Catches the 6-bagger.
I will be back, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Check time. Well, and
Cortez.
that's about going to do it.
Yeah, whatever he was doing to that thumb hole paid off. It came off his hand pretty clean and puts 10 back.
Zweig, Keplinger, Simonson, Shank. And seed-wise, it's Zweig, Keplinger, Shank, Simonson. So Cortez Shank and Anthony Simonson will bowl in the opening match.
Yeah, because again, it's based on the catcher's round ranking.
Correct.
Yes.
And then the winner, sorry, not even the winner, obviously the higher seed gets lane choice, which, could play a very important role based on how some lanes have been very different. Championship pair, I believe, is going to be on 9 and 10. That's right, Maximum Bob. Show us what you got still.
Where's the championship match going to be?
I believe it's going to be on 9 and 10.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Shank, Simonson, Alec Keplinger going to be the number 2 seed. And that's Zweig, who's got a 7-10 up.
Oh, did he? Okay. Yeah. And he goes 8 out.
Now, just because it's not mathematically over here. So let's go 30, 60, 90, 20, 221 for Briley Hall.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, it's not over.
Not over. But Shank, Simonson, Kep, they're in mathematically now.
Yes.
We're projecting Zweig to be in And now Riley Haw just has nothing on the ground.
Correct. And again, like we've mentioned before, anything's possible. Like, and we've seen it a couple times even this week in this event. I'll just need count, just chop the spare, or 5. Or in the case of, again, we need to try and find out with Adrian, one off the right. She just needed to count, and it changed the whole complexity of that match.
Yeah.
I mean, because she won game 1,
All right.
so she could have locked that match up, and then that won, and whatever she got to lose game 2, and then she ended up losing in game 3. So that literally was a match changer for her. So yeah, just randomness happens when you get to these types of events and formats, and it's just bowling. Dahmer collected a 181, plus his 5, so it gives him 186. Cortez Shank.
Nice run by Keith.
What's that?
That's a nice run by Keith.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and you go Cortez, he's got 230. Yeah, Briley's, that was a huck at a head pin.
I tell you what a bad idea, honestly, because there's no gimmies, there's no guarantees.
No. Cortez trying a different ball.
Listen, another 7-10, we could have something here.
And again, you said it, I did not. Anything's possible.
It's just the reality.
I know. As we've talked, as soon as the ball gets past the foul line and released, anything's possible.
There we go.
Was a pretty good pitch.
So his lead officially now is 33. 33-pin lead for Matt Zwei. Again, best 2 out of 3. And folks, we appreciate you joining us throughout the day. Big thank you to Chris Schlemer, Carl Long. Hope Gramley joined us early in round 1. Brianna Cote joined us in round 2. They've been spelling me so I can go move and run cables and change stuff. And I appreciate all the help today and this week, especially from you, Chris.
No, hey, Dan, that's what we do. Here to help. That looks to be pretty good as well.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, that young man. He's got I'll get some info from each of these competitors as best as I can.
Okay.
For the step ladder purposes, I'm speaking of, but I think Madison won something major, but I'm not completely sure. But I think he has, but I'm not sure. I could be wrong on that, but I'll find out.
How about that? Just rifling the urethane ball at the head pin and catches his first double. Because I don't think he doubled in the first game. So it literally was his first double on this pair.
Just as a heads up, folks, if you wouldn't mind, just to hit the thumbs up if you have not already on this event. Get that circulating a little bit for this Agent Ong Open. There's also an Agent Ong Open playlist, and that non-strike, by the way, but that would do it.
Mm-hmm.
There is an Agent Ong Open playlist, too, so make sure you check that out. Every event from this weekend is in that playlist.
Okay.
So you can watch everything that you may have missed if you want to check out something. Of course, the Robert Smith, Greg Thompson Jr. action match, as one would imagine, pretty popular to watch in the archives. So you can check all of that out. We will have a break. They will run the lanes to redress the championship pair. So right now I'm going to say approximately 3 p.m. Approximately. That's 3 p.m. local, 6 p.m. Eastern. Approximately. Maybe a little after. And there is a finals event. In fact, let me help you as I've been doing, just in case. Let's get you that link so you can already have it ready and open. And we're going to make it. haven't coughed in a long time, so that's great. I will throw a Ricolo in between or during this break. So it's going to be officially now. Matt Zweig defeats Briley Hall 2-zip. Alec Keplinger defeats Josh Anthony 2-zip. Anthony Simonson defeats Robert Smith 2-zip. Cortez Shank defeats Keith Dahmer 2-zip. It is Matt Zweig, Alec Keplinger in seed order. Cortez Shank, Anthony Simonson. Those will be your 4 stepladder finalists. The winner will receive $10,000.
And the Agent On title belt.
Indeed. And folks, officially that is going to do it for this round. Well, that was a very interesting 3 rounds of match play. There was a lot happening. I know we did our best to keep you informed, folks, as best as we could. This is the voice of Theo Duthay.
Your 5-seed Cortez Shank defeats your 13-seed Keith Dahmer. Cortez will be the 3-seed for the stepladder. And your 7-seed Anthony Simonson defeats your 8-seed Robert Smith. And he will be the 4-seed for the stepladder. We're going to take a short break. They're going to re-oil some lanes for us for the stepladder finals. And all it's going to do is this thing and adjust these cameras. And then we will get the stepladder finals started.
All right, so I'm going to say about 30 minutes from now. About 30 minutes from now. Again, thank you to Team Agent On, My Home Group, Create Proof Print, Unwind, Wellness Redefined, Travel 24/7, WeSpeakWifi.com, Brightside Catering from Chef Adam Allison, also Bowling Dynamics, East Valley Fans and Blinds, Burke Brothers, I Am Bowling, Ramsey Auto Center, and Angela Ziebert, Swim Instructor. Thank you again, Chris Schlemmer. Appreciate you. You will be back for the finals. Very much looking forward to your analysis during what is going to be a very, very, very good finals coming up next. We may have an appearance, of course, from Carl Ong as well. So for all involved, my name is Emil Williams Jr. Make sure you click and open that finals tab I just dropped in the Bowl Stream TV chat. That is where the finals will take place. Until then, I'm going to go move some things around and get prepared. This has been a presentation of Match Play for the inaugural Agent Ong Open. Watch that live and only on Bowl Stream TV.